Greetings, investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where tonight my friends and I are playing KULT, Divinity Lost. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario that we are playing is called Oakwood Heights. It contains violent and disturbing themes, so be warned. It was written by Peter Nalo. It can be found in Taroticum and Other Tales, and it's available from the KULT website as a free-to-play scenario. I've now played a few KULT games, and this is my first attempt at running a game in this system. So please be kind in your criticisms. Well, no, don't. I need to learn. That being said, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Detroit, Michigan, in November 2015, a city in decay, desolate houses, dilapidated city blocks, and rusting industries, all drenched in snowy grit, chilling rain, and icy winds off the Great Lakes. Formerly the hub of North America's auto industry, the city is now in serious decline. The population has dwindled from 2 million to 700,000 in only a few decades. In the central regions, there are empty and abandoned skyscrapers. In the surrounding areas, many of the houses lie desolate. Entire neighborhoods have been swallowed up by urban decay, left forgotten and fallow. On the streets, the gangs hold sway over the urban jungle, while those living in the gutter try to suppress their misery through drugs and alcohol. Per capita, the average income in Detroit is 2/3 lower than everywhere else in the United States. Pockets of hope remain, but they are few and far between. Oakwood Heights, located in the southwestern Detroit, is a suburb of detached houses. As it lies right next to factories and industries, it is one of the most polluted areas in Detroit. The neighborhood is run down and in rapid decline, which has been accelerated by recent buyouts of homes. The largest industry is the Marathon Petroleum Company refinery. The police station at 12,000 Livernois Avenue, Tuesday, November 17th, 2015 at 2 p.m. The Livernois Police Station is a dilapidated building in central Detroit. In one of the conference rooms, our characters and Lieutenant Noel Pierce gather for a run-through of the day's planned activities. All right, gentlemen. We're going to be working on the Franklin Mills case today. You're all familiar with it for one reason or another. We are, just to maybe refresh your memory, although it hasn't been too long. Mr. Mills, in addition to a number of minor offenses, is also charged with kidnapping and the murder of 4 individuals, including a police officer. There's no reason at this point to look for more evidence. We have ample evidence to try and convict him of the crime. However, he is pleading insanity, that he does not recall the events that took place on that day, nor does he claim any involvement in it whatsoever. He has been evaluated by a psychologist, at least in part, Dr. Carl DeHamry. He's also taken the lie detector test and passed them all. So perhaps it's just that he believes that he is innocent. In any case, what we're planning on today is temporarily releasing him from custody of the jail. This is by Samantha Katz's request. We're going to have him taken out to the home that he committed the murders in, and which is also apparently his ancestral home where he grew up, in the hopes that it spurs some memories and that she can further evaluate him there to see if he's simply lying. The prisoner transport from the jail should arrive at the house at 3:30 p.m. And once the tour is finished at the house, you will then be traveling to Crime Scene 2, which is the derelict ship at Zug Island. All in all, we expect that you will be done by 6:30 p.m. When he will be returned to custody and taken back to Detroit Penitentiary. Do we have any questions, comments?
No, I just want to get this done.
I think we should be clear also that the nature of this follow-up inquiry is not merely for Prosecutor Katz to make a determination, but also for further psychological evaluation. It is not a certainty whatsoever that Franklin Mills belongs in the penal system ultimately, rather than in a psychiatric care facility.
I'd perhaps neglectful in making sure you all know one another. This is Dr. Carl DeHamery. He is in charge of the current psychological evaluation of Mr. Mills. Some of you might know Samantha Katz. She's the lead prosecutor involved in this case. And of course, we have Detective Felicia Jenner and Officer Aiden Kostroff, who is currently on sick leave, himself being evaluated because of his involvement in a rather harrowing experience, I imagine, on his part. So,
and I assume that we would know if there had been, Lieutenant Pierce, any news whatsoever of the missing child. Still no body or anything.
Wait, shouldn't that really be the motive here, to see like if he remembers what he did with the kid?
That is part of what we're hoping. He'll decide to confess to us.
Well, hopefully, at least.
And all the evidence points that way.
I don't think that there's probably much chance that William remains alive after 2 months. But perhaps you'll find where his body is hidden in the ship. Perhaps he'll remember. As you know, that there was a search made. It's a huge ship, and also quite dangerous and derelict. Dogs were brought in, but the smell of oil and refuse and rust is too overpowering. So the dogs weren't able to find anything.
Now, just want to just bring one thing up. Felicia and Aiden, I know that Mr. Mills killed an officer. I just want to make sure that you two will behave yourselves. We don't want to turn this into a fiasco, if you understand.
Oh, of course not. I'll be 100% professional. I'm just here to help. It's already been a horror beyond imagining, and I don't want to add anything to it. I'm just here to help.
My biggest concern is getting him to confess, especially after, and so I support your trying to get him to understand what he did wrong, and also to find the give some closure to the family that the extended family that's left of that nuclear family.
It would be nice to allow whoever remains at least to bury William's memory. To date, with the access that I've had to Mr. Mills, my professional opinion is that his memory loss at least is real. It is my hope that through treatment, including perhaps some of the confrontation, with physical evidence, et cetera, today, we can break through his confusion. I can scarcely imagine, well, it's not hard to imagine blotting out such horrific acts if one found that one had committed them for some unexplained reason.
Let's take a minute here to go over a few of the details in chronological order, just so that we can, for those of us who are here that were not involved, we'll understand what happened. For unknown reasons, on the night of Saturday, 22nd August, 2015, Mr. Frank Mills attacked a friend of his, a colleague, a co-worker, Colin Thomas, at his home, and then left. It was Mr. Thomas who alerted the police that something was wrong. Franklin then went to his the house where he was raised after visiting a hardware store where he obtained a number of nails, knives, hammers, and duct tape. He entered his home, his old home, the Bedford family home, at approximately 12 p.m. He murdered the babysitter who was watching William Bedford. He dragged her up the stairs and put her in the bathtub and drowned her. It's fairly clear from the forensic evidence that she was still alive after he had beaten her. He then proceeded to do some very odd things. He gathered together the boys' toys and some of his clothing, and he burned them in the living room. He tore down some of the wallpaper, and he beat the family dog to death and cut it into pieces. He then, by this time, his father came home from work, and he was captured, stripped naked, tied to a chair, and also beaten to death. Mr. Mills then forced William he forced William to call one of his schoolmates. He then, once she arrived, he tied her up and wrapped tape around her face and put her in the closet to suffocate. He then went out in order to find William's mother. And while he was out, Officer Kostrov arrived and noticed that something was wrong. Kostrov went inside. He realized that Mr. Bedford was dead. He went up the stairs to look. He called for backup. He found William in the closet and rescued him and was bringing him down the stairs. Meanwhile, Mr. Mills had abducted Mrs. Bedford and brought her back home. He encountered Officer Kostrov and beat him with a crowbar, knocking him unconscious. He then took the boy, the mother, and Officer Kostrov to Zug Island onto a derelict ship. Detective Felicia Jenner and her partner, Officer Clark, questioned Mr. Thomas and began looking up leads. One of the leads turned out to be Zug Island. They, at that time, did not have any idea that that was, in fact, where Mr. Frank Mills was. While they were entering the ship, Mr. Officer Officer Glover was shot and killed, and Mr. Frank Mills locked himself in the engine room, which Officer Jenner was not immediately able to get into. When he finally did enter, he found Mrs. Bedford chopped into pieces ritualistically, and Mr. Mills lying on the floor in a catatonic state. I believe that is all correct. The boy, William Bedford, could not be found. So there's a brief rundown of what happened.
Now, in Colin Thomas's statements, did he mention why Mills attacked him to begin with? We have his recorded statement.
Something about selling off his tools
and guns, I do believe. He seemed to have some weapons. And
rather than visit the hardware store, Mr. Mills was hoping to retrieve weapons and other materials for the coming assault. I believe his fugue state had already begun at this time.
Yeah. See from Mr. Mills' background check that he's been in trouble quite a bit in the past.
Right, in ways that are, obviously profoundly dissimilar from the events of this August. But yeah, he was not a stand-up citizen at any point, nor did he come from a very sound background.
Yeah, his mother was also committed to a mental ward.
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No, it doesn't, because she killed her daughter, his sister.
And that is the room in which, young William and his schoolmate were locked up, and she was suffocated. So you could see that there's a repetition of trauma that he was enacting while in this state.
Mm-hmm. Interesting part is I don't believe he had actually been there when all this occurred.
No, he had run away a bit before the mother declined and eventually caused his sister's death. But I think that the guilt that resulted from her death is the seed that grew into this, disordered tree.
Mm-hmm.
It's my working theory that the reason that the boy William was largely uninjured physically is because for Franklin in his disordered state, William was a representation of his younger self, reenacting some confused family trauma.
Very Freudian.
Probably very alcohol and drug fueled as well.
Well, surely there'd be physical evidence if that were the case. I don't recall seeing any sort of report on his blood toxicity or such. I mean, after the commission
your mission for today is to get over there to the house. They'll be sending somebody with a guard with Mr. Mills.
Yeah, I assume we'll have a number of uniformed officers to maintain.
Well, it depends on what our financial situation is. That barely hold the precinct here together. Prisons are in worse shape than they are here. So In any case, Mr. As I recall, Mr. Mills is not exactly a powerhouse. He's a rather frail man.
Doctor, has he exhibited any violent behavior since incarceration?
To my knowledge, no. He seems confused. I am not particularly a believer in, I think, the fairly soundly disproven technology of the polygraph test, but the fact that he has passed them is consistent with the idea that he does not, in fact, recall the events of that day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's not going to prevent the justice that's coming to him, but I mean,
Yeah,
getting
the
him to
evidence.
remember and confess will save us and the whole city a whole lot of heartache.
Yeah. Well, I made sure that the evidence was collected that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt, at least evidence-wise, that all this was caused by him.
I don't think there's any meaningful dispute about whether or not the physical evidence indicates that he committed these acts. I just think it's a question of whether or not he is culpable under the law in the sense that somebody who was mentally competent would be.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a matter of whether or not he or the state are better served if he is incarcerated or institutionalized. Of course, prison populations are notoriously hostile to people who harm children. And he is a petty offender with no meaningful prison time behind him, especially if, as the lieutenant says, he's frail. He should not be in the general population by any stretch.
In any case, you have a little bit of time before you need to be there, but please, that's going to conclude our briefing for today.
Does the city currently own the crime scene house? Or is it up for sale? I mean, I assume we have complete access to it. I don't know to what extent it's been cleaned up.
That's all been set up today. Yes, you have complete access to it. I don't think that it's in a rather bad neighborhood. So hopefully it hasn't been vandalized or anything since the crime. All right. Thank you very much. There's coffee.
Thanks.
And he gets up and leaves.
Yeah, I'll be taking my own vehicle to the site, I don't think. And if anybody has anything else we want to discuss while at the precinct, otherwise we can just await Mr. Mills and his custodians at the site.
I'm fine. Does anyone needs anything from me? I'll just be on my way there.
While you're on leave, Mr. Kostroff or Officer Kostroff, are you still carrying a weapon?
No, sir. That'd be against policy.
Gotcha. Detective Jenner, I assume that you are armed
of course.
under the circumstances. Okay.
I can assume that you all have flashlights.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Sorry.
What would you guys like to do? We can say you're supposed to be there at 3:30. We'll say it's 2:30 at the moment. And if you don't really have anything that you want to do, then we can just skip ahead to you getting there. Are you all taking your own cars? Are you taking a police car?
Am I allowed to take a police car? I mean,
Well, you could ride with Officer Jenner,
Right.
but you probably drove here in your car.
I'll just take my own vehicle. And just walking around the police station, just old stomping grounds. I might not be a detective, but as a cop, I can read a room. Also, as a person, read a room. How are fellow officers reacting towards me?
Well, why don't you try? Say read a person.
Okay. I mean, I know how Jenner's. reacting to me. That's an 11.
11. Did you add it on your intuition?
I'm sorry, I'm looking. So suspended officer, and then fortitude, okay, so 12.
Okay. You can ask one question. How you want to ask how people are?
Yeah, people are like, which might be like, oh man, that's the guy that you got that detective killed, or it's like, wow, he's back. He looks all right. You know.
I don't think that people at work are thinking of you that way. Some of them have worked with you. They like you. It wasn't your fault that you got. Probably the only criticism you got, it's a mixed criticism because you went into the house before backup got there, but you had reason to because you saw somebody was injured, or you felt seriously that somebody was injured inside.
I remember hearing a kid.
It's not your fault. Most of them believe, and get yourself psych evaluated and back on track, and you'll be fine.
Cool. Now I just got to convince Jenner of that.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm gonna take one. Obviously, this is official police business. So I'm definitely gonna take our cop car in, and I'll have I'll probably make sure that I have adequate supplies of everything. I probably usually every police department has like there's an area where usually they have a little shrine area. I'm going to go down there and we'll take care of this guy for you, partner. I'll make sure he confesses. The evidence is there. He just needs to see the light. And
all right. So we'll move on then. A few minutes before 3:30, you all pull in one after the other. One of you is able to park in the driveway of the house, and the rest of you park on the street. It's a rundown 2-story house in a rundown neighborhood. You probably get some glances out of windows from neighbors. It's probably on your police report. It says which neighbor called the police when they thought something odd was going on, and it would have been that neighbor over there. And as you're getting out and sort of standing in the front yard, which is run down, the grass is all brown and long. You notice down the street, a van comes around the corner and starts heading in your direction. And you're thinking at first it's a prison van, but it's the wrong color. And there's a dish on the top of it, and the words Detroit News is on the side as it pulls up and parks on the street. And a reporter who you all immediately recognize, Kate Dixon, gets out, along with the cameraman, and she straightens her little outfit, and she sees you, and she grabs the microphone, and she starts walking towards you. And she's like, "Good morning." So she walks up to Joshua, the prosecutor. I'm sorry, not Joshua, Samantha. Sorry, Joshua. She walks up to Samantha and she's like, "Prosecutor Katz, sources have said that you're planning a tour of the Bedford crime scene with the suspect Franklin Mills. Is this correct?"
Yes, it is. It has not commenced yet.
Oh, well, what new information are you hoping to find out?
Well, this denial of his actions we were worried that this is going to get drawn out into a lengthy trial. If bringing him here will, get him to recognize what he's done, or to, confront what he's done, and admit the horrible actions that he's committed against his community, this will go a lot smoother.
What are the other three of you guys doing at this point? He's being accosted by the.
I'm just standing there stoically, just,
Okay.
non-committal.
I'm avoiding the press if I can.
Guys, if I hadn't gotten out of my car when the van pulled up, I would stay in the car and wait to see how the officials deal with it.
Prosecutor Katz, the missing boy, William Bedford, is there any possible chance that he might still be alive?
I don't know any details on that. The whereabouts of Williams, we hope, is something that Franklin Mills will decide to share with us after we bring him on these tours today.
She then looks over at Aiden. Mr. Kostrov, you were injured in the line of duty. How does it feel to return here?
No. It's always a challenge for anyone to return where they've been injured, but I'm fully recovered in all ways, and I'm just here to assist any way I can.
Well, you must be feeling awful. The detective who died, Clark Glover, is it true he was shot with your service pistol? How do you feel about that?
All
No
right.
comment.
Look, we can't have you parked here. We need a space for the prison transport.
Oh, well, this is big news. The people want to know.
Well, I'm sure they can. Look, once the investigation progresses, we can release a statement. But please, if you'd be so kind to move your vehicle.
Is that Dr. DeHamry over there? Isn't he working the case? Isn't that the detective who was involved, Detective Jenner?
I don't believe anybody here has any further comments to make about the situation. We have nothing until these walkthroughs of these scenes with Mr. Mills occur. We will have no further information for you.
336, a white van comes down the street and parks in front of the house, and immediately the detectives, the reporter, starts heading towards it.
All right. Is it the van that we're expecting?
It's unmarked. You're pretty sure it is. Yeah.
I will go over there and say, and without being impolite, move him back so that they can get the prisoner out securely.
Right.
Move back.
The car parks. The van parks. Driver gets out, who you can see is a prison officer. He comes around to the side and opens the side of the van. He steps a little inside, and you can see him unlocking the shackles that held Frank Mills to the wall. Frank Mills is a 45-year-old man. He's dressed in orange. He's got penitentiary overalls. He's got a quilted jacket on. He's kind of gray, his skin, like he hasn't seen much sun. And he's a bit emaciated. He's also looks frail, and he's kind of quivering. The guard, who you may have seen a number of times, is named Preston Miles, you think, and he's big. He's a big, muscular fellow, but he seems to be the only guard that they sent.
Tom, I'd like to interpose myself between the camera lights and camera and the smiley lady and the suspect.
Okay.
and say, I'm sure whoever was so unprofessional as to tell you to anticipate this event, it's not good for the public or good for this suspect to receive this kind of attention. You really have no business here, and I think we'd all thank you to leave. There'll be a public statement, I'm sure, in no time.
She looks like she's about to say something to you to counter that, the whole journalism, the rights of the journalist and all that. But she suddenly puts her hand to her ear and she turns to her cameraman and she says, we've got to go. There's a big fire over on the east side. And she doesn't even acknowledge that you're there. She walks away as if you were rocks on the street,
Good luck catching that ambulance.
And off they go. So you find yourself in the front yard with Preston Miles and Franklin Mills. And the four of you. Franklin Mills is like, what are we doing here?
Mr. Mills, do you remember me or Detective Jenner or Officer Kostroff?
Well, I remember you, Doc. These other guys, they say that I'm involved with them in some way, but I don't know what you're talking about. This whole thing seems like some sort of farce that you're putting me through.
You do recognize this building, though, Mr. Mills.
I've never seen this place before in my life.
Mr. Mills, what elementary school did you go to when you were a child?
Elementary school? I don't remember what elementary school I went to.
Does that strike you as odd?
No, I wasn't very good at school. School sucks.
Do you remember your phone number from when you were a child?
Phone number? No. I don't even know if we had a phone.
Do you remember the name of any childhood friends?
Why do you keep asking me these questions? And why am I here? This is some rando house in the middle of nowhere.
How many bedrooms do you think are in this house, Mr. Mills?
You know what? I'm really exhausted and tired of answering all of these nonsensical questions.
If you were going to hang a swing from one of these trees, which would you choose?
He's shaking his head like, I don't understand why you're asking such bizarre questions.
We'll go inside where it's a little warmer, I trust, in a moment. Do you remember the name of your first pet?
Not really.
Do you remember your sister's name?
He suddenly looks like something bothers him when you say that, my sister.
Shall I try to read him?
Sure, you can do that.
That's a 9, and I think I get 3. That's my, intuition. So that's 12.
That's a regular, you can just ask a question.
How do you feel right now, Mr. Mills?
Confused. It's late. It's late. Why isn't she home?
Who is missing?
My sister. She's not home from school yet.
Where in the house would you wait for her?
I don't know. Depends on where Mom is.
Do you usually go in the front or the back door of the house, Frank?
What are you talking about? I've never been in this house before.
Thanks. Well, let's try. Can we get some more? Has this? I'll ask the guard. Has this guy been eating at all, or is he on a hunger strike?
I don't know. And you're looking at the guard, and when you glance up at the guard, you notice that he's got an earphone in, and it goes to his phone, and he's got a hold on Frank Mills, but he's also looking at video or something else.
He's
Not
listening
paying
to
attention.
serial.
As far as I know, he is.
Well, let's get him inside before more TV people show up.
And as we're going, am I muted? I'm not. Good. As we're going inside, I say to Doc's like, maybe like a meal or something his mom would make, or I don't know, like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Don't mothers make that all the time. Trigger memory by smell.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that he's not all there. I didn't see a flicker of recognition in his face. What is the condition of the inside of the house? Because in August it sounds very messy.
Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's see.
Yeah, because if we're going to try and trigger memory by smell, and it smells like decomp and carrion in there, that it could either be really good or really bad.
But we're not trying to trigger memories of his childhood. We're trying to trigger memories of what he did.
Exactly.
But I think, if I'm understanding the doctor's approach here, is he believes the actions that we're trying to learn about were done because of events in his childhood. And if you can get to the childhood, you'll then be able to make him remember the actions he did. Basically starting at the source. Is that right, Doc?
I mean, that's fair. I also didn't think he wouldn't recognize this building. So, I mean, his condition is very extreme and unusual. So anything I can pry out of his memory is welcome.
All right. Are you going to go through the front door?
So let's take him through the back.
That's how he entered in August, I believe.
Yes, it was.
I will follow up behind everybody.
Okay.
Mainly to keep an eye on the prisoner.
And the guard is coming with us, or the guard's minding
Oh
the
yeah,
van?
the guard's keeping a hold on the guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he can't do anything. All right, so you come around the house, which is, like I see, in pretty bad shape. You step up onto the back porch. Who's stepping up? Let's get an idea of who's going up first, where Mills is, and then who's coming up last.
I'll walk up first. Do I have keys or something to unlock the door?
Oh, you do have keys.
Okay, so I'll go unlock the door.
But when you step up onto the porch and you look, the back door is open about an inch.
Somebody else here?
Tell you what, prosecutor, why don't you let an officer go in first? You sure you want to, Jenner? I mean, I'm just here to help.
Right now, you're suspended, so
all right.
I will step back and I will slowly enter appropriately, checking the first room out first.
The first room, as you open the door and you look inside, is the living room. You can see that there's some weather damage. The back door seems to have been open for a little while. There's water from rain and so forth that is blown in through the window. There's dry leaves on the floor. You can see a large spot in the carpet where it's burned, and there's soot marks on the ceiling. And you can see into the dining room from there and the kitchen. You're not sure if anybody's been in here, but
I will do the standard. Police are here.
there is no sound, no reaction.
Could the door have been left open during the crime scene investigation? There's quite a bit of damage in there.
Taking a look, does it look like it's anyone has like crime voyeurs or something like that's been in here?
You're not sure.
Yes, I'm not real sure. There seems to be some dried leaves, so something blew in. But I don't see any obvious evidence of what we commonly see with these scenes of crime voyeurs.
The place definitely seems to have been gone over during 2 months ago during the crime scene.
First room is clear. I'm going to check the rest of the first floor.
Professor Katz, Prosecutor Katz, rather, should we look at this first area and let the detective do her work?
Yes, let's get it out of the wind here. As long as we just don't go very far, it shouldn't be a problem.
And how's Mills look upon being brought into this room?
Okay, as you move through the door frame into the room, Mills suddenly starts to shake a little, and he's like, no, you have to take your shoes off. Oh my God, take off your shoes. If you don't take off your shoes, you're gonna get mud in the house. Mom's gonna be really mad.
Don't you worry, Franklin. Mom's not here.
Shh. She's going to hear you.
No, your mom's been out of this house for a little while, but I'm glad that it seems familiar.
No. She's here. You know she's here. And she's going to hear you. Take off your shoes.
I'm afraid that wouldn't be appropriate. It's chilly, and it's also a crime scene. You understand, Franklin?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's been a series of very bad things have been done in this house this year. Very bad things.
You're not going to get away with this. You're not going to get away with framing me for some bizarre murder.
What do you think happened to Mom's carpet right here, where it's all burnt black?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You can see it's burnt, can't you, Franklin?
Yeah, but I've never been in here before. I have no idea what that is. And you can see pieces of melted toys and things like that in the. Yeah.
But you were worried about our taking our shoes off, Franklin. Do you see how you're being inconsistent?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You like dogs?
Dogs? I don't know. Why are you asking me about dogs? I think you people are all fucking crazy.
Huh. I secured the first floor.
Yeah, pretty much. I can give you kind of a rundown of what you're seeing. Let's see the kitchen, or let's see the dining room. Ryan Bedford, the father, was found naked and bound to a chair. You can see a place in the carpet where his feet were nailed to the floor. So there's blood stains in the carpet. You can also see a large quantity of blood because his femoral artery was cut open. There seems to be a number of things in the sink, some dishes. There is a knife on the counter. But I'd like you to take a closer look. How do we do that?
Would that be
investigate?
All right.
Investigate.
All right. I assume that would be perception, right?
It's your roll plus reason.
Reason. I got 12.
Okay. You may ask one question, but the information comes at a cost. Let's see. Go ahead and ask your question.
Looking at the knife, was this the? I thought all the evidence was collected. What kind of knife is it? Is it a?
It is a butcher knife sitting on the counter, and it is surprisingly clean. There's no dust on it.
Like it's been recently used.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it should be sitting there.
I say, doctor, and Miss Katz, be careful. Just found something here that has gotten me concerned. Seems that someone has been in here recently. There's a butcher knife out, and it's extremely clean compared to everything else in this household.
That's weird.
I would suggest maybe removing yourselves and the prisoner until I've been able to clear out the house, check the house fully. And I will carefully, properly pick up the knife so I don't affect it. And do I have any of the baggies or?
No, because you're not really here to collect evidence.
All right.
You're just here to do the tour.
I need to secure the knife.
I have, file folders in my briefcase. We could sort of wrap it up in clean paper.
Yeah, and then I'm going to hand that off to him away from the prisoner. And I'm going to go upstairs now. The first floor seems to be secure.
And it's cold outside, but we'll all stay here together until you've checked the place out.
Right.
I think that's reasonable.
Jenny, you don't want someone just to watch your back? I'll even take point if you want.
Nope, that's okay.
Before you leave the kitchen, though, Frank Mills sort of suddenly looks into the kitchen, looks where you're standing, and he says, "Oh my, I was so scared. I was so scared, but he was bleeding and she wanted to taste his blood, and she did. And then, she didn't want him to die too quickly." And he's just suddenly almost catatonic, staring into the kitchen.
Franklin, the man that was bleeding, where was he? Can you point?
What are you talking about? He suddenly turns to you and says,
"Oh, prosecutor, you don't have a recording device on you, do you?"
Just about to ask. Or wait.
I'm here to get a confession. I better be recording.
Yeah.
Very good. Because this is going to help all of our cases one way or another.
Wait, do we also just have cell phones? I mean, he says 2017, right? So.
Yeah, 2015.
So I'll just have my phone ready to do video next time he starts, going to one of those states.
Okay.
Yes, I do have a small video camera with me, so to film this.
Oh, I think I do too, actually.
I'm going to slowly head up the stairs to secure the second floor.
All right. You do notice that it looks like there is some spray paint graffiti on the wall going up the stairs that you do not recall being there before. So somebody's been in the house.
Definitely someone's been in this house. I see some graffiti. So obviously we've had some crime fans come in here.
The house, by the way, I didn't mention before, It smells musty. It smells moldy. It smells like what you'd expect with wetness coming in from outside. There is no electricity, by the way. So you guys, I mean, it's still daytime, so there's light coming in from the windows. But if you need to see something clearly, you probably still use your flashlight.
Mm-hmm. I will have my flashlight out and my pistol in the other, and slowly.
You can also hear the rain outside has started, and you can hear it raining on the roof. Sounds like a million little fingers tapping on the ceiling outside. It's chilly. You head up the stairs, and you get to the top of the stairs. You know that there is a kind of like a linen closet directly at the top of the stairs, and then to your right there is a bathroom. To your left there is a sitting room, and then the master bedroom is farther on than that. You've been in here before, and you know that in the master bedroom there is a closet, a wardrobe built in. But as you walk around, you don't see anything unusual. It's an empty house.
Once I've gotten it secure, I'll come back. I'll say, seems upstairs secure.
You said there was spray paint?
Yeah, graffiti up the star wall. Well,
Just tags, or does it say, I
doesn't
am
say
the
anything.
devil and I'll come back?
Looks like some sort of gang tags.
All right. I'm surprised you wouldn't trip over a pile of beer cans, but the kitchen knife, detective and prosecutor, I remember from a file that the crime scene was left with a cleaned knife in or near the sink on a towel. Do you know if this was the same make or type of knife?
I have some case notes with me. Some documents. There was a knife left at the scene that was cleaned. It was used to cut the artery of Ryan Bedford.
Doesn't tell you whether it's a Japanese steak knife or a butcher knife or a
Well-sharpened knife.
So I wonder if we have a very obsessive fan in addition to a couple of local kids.
People are weird.
Yeah, it's a sad, ugly business.
Yep, it sure is. And I'm just staring right at the prisoner, just sad and ugly.
To you, he looks quite confused.
All right, well, let's bring him upstairs. That's where the rest of what happened here happened, I guess.
As you're going up the stairs, Franklin is suddenly, he's like blinking his eyes. He says, shouldn't we wait? Shouldn't we wait for my sister? I mean, if Mom finds out, she's gonna be really mad.
I'm just recording him.
When do you expect your sister to be back?
She should be home already.
I forget. Do you have a big sister or a little sister?
Little sister. She's my little sister. But she was not very good. She always made Mom mad.
Did you try to protect your little sister when your mom was mad?
From Mom? No. How could I? I was just a kid.
Sure. Remind me what your sister's name is?
I don't have a sister. What are you talking about? He suddenly
Uh,
reverts. You
and-
definitely get the feeling that he's going from child to adult every time he talks.
And I say, Doc, unless you object, I'd like to play back what I just recorded.
No, let's see. See if this sounds familiar to you, Franklin.
So I take my phone and I play it back for him, and it's showing an audio and video recording of him just saying what he was saying right in the stairwell.
He starts to twitch when you do that, and to try to sort of get away from hearing, puts his hands up.
Mm.
I should say that his hands are bound in his legs. He's also got chains, so he can't run, you know.
Yeah.
But he can move a little bit. But he puts his hands up to listen, and to block his head when you're doing that. Okay. What next?
Well, the tour continues.
Indeed.
Okay, he's sort of trying to pull away, and he turns Samantha towards you, and he's like it's too dangerous, you know, moms, how bad they can be. I mean, and he looks at you and stares right into your eyes, and he said, I know what it's like to want to kill your mother.
I'm recording this again.
Don't you?
Oh, my mother's dead.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And you know why.
Well, she killed herself, a lot like your mother. Please, that's not why we're here.
You want
I'd like to try to read the prosecutor.
you can do that. Prosecutor, do you want to try to keep it together?
Yeah, it's keep it together. That is a 19.
All right. Well, you managed to keep it together.
I got a 17 with my +3 intuition.
You can tell because of your psychological background that something cut rather deep
Somebody's keeping it together.
into Mr. Miss Katz.
And now she's drinking on the job.
All those beer cans.
Yeah.
Stale beer.
Jesus Christ, she brought her own Dr. Pepper. It's worse than I thought.
All right.
It's
So you
worse.
move-
I'm inhaling Coke.
You move to the top of the stairs. What do you want to do first?
Up the stairs.
Go towards the bathroom or towards the master bedroom?
Keeping chronological things. I don't know
Bathroom.
if it's, the bathroom happened next.
How many of us?
Well, yeah, because that's where the babysitter was killed first.
Yeah, they're not going to all fit in there, but
Well, some of you can stand at the door.
Yeah.
I'll be in the hallway.
how does the cleanup in here look?
As you approach the bathroom and open the door, you're suddenly struck by a rather nasty sort of smell. Doesn't smell like sewage so much that it smells like old oil.
Oil.
Yeah, it's got a strong, almost engine oil sort of smell to it. You also notice that when you look inside, the curtain or the shower curtain has been drawn closed, so you can't actually see the tub.
Someone
Detective
trying to
Jenner-
cook something off in here or something? Or
Nobody would replace the shower curtain, and surely the original was too damaged / soiled / evidence worthy to still be here.
Oh, the manner in which Lynn Jaskolski was killed wasn't. There was not a lot of blood involved. She was drowned in the tub.
Right.
Beaten
If
downstairs
there was
and
blood,
dragged
the
over.
blood was downstairs where she was assaulted. And tortured.
Right.
Well,
It's
and
not. It's
she
not
was-
like the bathtub was filled with blood, but you beat someone up, you rough them up, you drag them into a bathtub. There'll be blood on, various places, but it's not a blood bath, so to speak.
Even if it was tidy until they got in the tub, it's not as though he likely found a tub full of water to drown her, and he'd have to turn the water on, and then they would like be splash.
The bathroom in general is in bad condition. There are tiles missing. There's definitely mold.
Yeah, and the shower curtain, is it moldy?
Not particularly, but it is.
Does it smell a little like plastic, like it's new?
Well, you're overwhelmed by the smell of oil.
How is Mills reacting?
He still looks confused, but he's in the confused state where he looks like, what am I doing here?
All right. Well, I'll go pull the curtain back.
When you pull the curtain back, the tub is almost completely full, brimming with black, oily looking water. You pull it back and the surface of it almost ripples as if something were in it. But
Ugh,
it's nasty.
Oh, nope. Backing up. Nope.
Maybe we should skip the bathroom.
Nope.
So, out of curiosity here, because Jenner had been at the ship. Does this smell bring back the memory of the oily, coal-smelling ship?
Yeah, maybe. Ship definitely smelled like old rancid oil. This smells like old rancid oil. Why don't you do a keep
That's
it
what I was
together?
thinking. Yeah.
Should I also be doing a keep it together then? Since
Yeah, actually, yes, you should.
okay, so probably should have. I probably should have been starting to like freak out when I started smelling this. Be like, that smell.
All right. I rolled a
Passing
17.
the stairs where you were ambushed and beaten with a crowbar.
Yeah, sweet memories. That's a 4. Oh, hold on. I think I am supposed to add something for keep it together. That's under willpower.
You
Nope,
add your
just 4,
willpower.
which is
Willpower.
+0. So 4.
All right.
The smell is bad. The smell is bad.
You immediately have to leave the room. It's rather overwhelming. So you are going to lose 2 to your stability. The way sanity works in this game, if you look on your sheet, you'll see that you move down 2 paces. There'll be some that are already blacked out.
Mm-hmm.
So you
That's
are now
it.
going to move 2 down from that.
Stability. So I'm now. Well, I'm already at.
Wait, does he lose 2 stability, or that's just one of the options, isn't it?
Well, it's the one that I chose.
Oh.
You got a
Okay,
4.
so I start off at composed, and you take me down to what? Unfocused.
You actually start at shaken, and
Oh,
you go
shit.
down. You're going down to neurotic.
Oh, good. That's good. Excellent.
Which gives you a -2 to disadvantage rolls. So you're visibly shaken by it.
The man is clearly neurotic.
What?
I'm gonna. Is there anything like a plunger or anything in this bathroom that I could check the water, since you did say it rippled, right?
Mhm.
I was wondering whether there was one of those chains that goes to a drain, so you could tug that without touching the surface.
True.
Dr. Carl, you can see that there is a spot where the chain attached, but the chain seems to be broken. So it's the plug is down there in the dark.
I wonder, Detective, whether we shouldn't see if you can't get a couple of uniformed officers out here, because the scene has been tampered
with. Yeah.
And
Do
we
I have a
can
little-
document it, but we only have a few hours. We have 2 scenes to investigate.
Well,
Yeah,
I
we should
don't
call
see.
for backup. You should always call for backup.
I will get on the thing saying, seems that the crime scene, a couple of uniformed officers out here to check it out.
Well, no, you got to do
Why?
it like in the code talk. It's like we got an 826
Yes.
at 129 unit 4 reporting.
The response is going to probably be something like why.
Yeah, the
Crime
evidence
scene's been
that
gone over, evidence has been collected. It's
we
done.
we have all the evidence that we need from a prosecution standpoint. The maintenance of the crime scene this far past is not relevant.
Also, not to disparage Detroit, but a rundown house being broken into. I mean,
In a bad
thrill
neighborhood.
seekers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Surprised they didn't steal the copper piping.
Given time.
Yeah, we haven't looked.
Well,
Oh, trust me, you would be able to tell real quick. They'll rip out the walls for it.
All right. Well, I'll look in the closet and see if there's a broom, because I mean, even if you've got rubber gloves, Detective, they're not going to go up to your elbow, and that's full.
Well, why are you?
There,
What does it matter, Detective?
there's a broom.
I see the broom and I hand it to him, and I just says like, I think we should move on. I agree with the prosecutor, but here's your broom.
So Felicia, are you going to try?
Yes.
All right. You've caused the smell to increase by moving the water around, but there doesn't seem to be anything in there.
Okay.
Anything in there.
Okay. Undo the plug by knocking it loose.
Yeah, you can try. I don't know how we do something like that. Well, we'll just say that you
Roll for
fiddle
broom.
around with it for a bit and you think that you managed to undo the plug, but you don't hear it draining. The water
It must be
level stays the
clogged.
same.
Typical of the pipes. I say we move on.
Amen to that. Let's
There doesn't seem to be anything in the tub.
All right.
Mr. Mills, the next stop is the master bedroom. Does this look familiar to you at all?
He's like, none of this looks familiar to me. I don't see why you're. And you get to the doorway going into the bedroom, and he suddenly jerks back. He says, I don't want to go in there.
Why is that?
I just don't. I want to. It's time to leave. I want to go. Let's go.
We're almost done here.
I don't want to be in this awful house anymore. Where you brought me to try to frame me for some sort of murder.
Just bear with us one moment and just look inside this wardrobe.
No. Don't go near that. Don't go near that. Don't. Mom's inside. She'll get out. She'll get you.
Mom can't hurt you anymore. Do you remember Soraya?
He looks at you for a moment, and he looks confused, and then he gives you a very strange look, Dr. DeHamry, and your phone vibrates.
Excuse me.
And you look down at your phone and you see a message. I'm sending it to you.
You're still getting this, Kostrov? I'll just be a moment. Oh.
Yes, I'm still recording.
And as you see Dr. Carl sort of look a bit surprised at something on her phone, Franklin Mills sort of looks at you and leans forward and he says, "You were supposed to help them. Why didn't you help them?"
Are you trying to distract from the question of Soraya, William?
Who's that?
The little girl you suffocated in this wardrobe.
Girl. There's no little girl. And she looks over at Felicia. And Felicia, you suddenly get the odd urge to look out the upstairs window. And when you look out, there is a little girl on the sidewalk dressed in a pink puffy sort of jacket. And you recognize her. You can try to keep it together. Dr. Carl, you also can try to keep it together.
I texted you.
Okay.
So I kind of did. Mostly.
You get a -1 on your situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a 15, so.
All right. Well, you're shaken, but once again, you sort of grit your teeth and bear it.
Was it with the 10 to 14, David would pick something from this list?
I'm sorry, 10 to 14. Yeah, you can choose one from that. You get to choose one. You have your list.
Which of us gets to choose?
You do.
You, because you got a 10 to 14.
Okay.
Like you become angry, sad, scared, guilt-ridden, obsessed, distracted, or haunted.
I think haunted.
You will be haunted by this experience at a later time.
Okay.
It will lurk.
Every time you move towards the wardrobe, he becomes very distressed.
I would like to open the wardrobe.
Okay. You reach over and you open the wardrobe, and there's nothing inside. It's just an empty room. You can see, well, it's a closet. There's nothing particularly odd, or weird about it. The little girl was not beaten. She was suffocated with tape. So there's like no marks or anything like that. But she becomes visibly upset about the closet. No. Close it.
Why?
Close it. She's there. She's here. She'll come out. Don't let her out. Don't let her out.
Invisible?
Don't let her out.
Do you remember
you
the boy you
afraid-
kept in here?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Please answer the latest question.
I didn't
Yeah,
hear
I
it.
asked. Do you remember the boy you kept in here, William?
No.
Please tell us where William is,
No.
Mr. Mills.
I don't know who William is.
And yet you seem to have strange speech episodes and sometimes remember this house. Do you understand that perhaps you've gone through a trauma and that your memory is not to be trusted?
No. We need to leave.
You don't
Mr.
remember
Mill-
your childhood. You don't remember your sister's name. You don't remember a dog or a friend or your house. Maybe there's other things you've forgotten. And I'm asking you these questions, Frank, honestly, because I'm concerned about where you end up, and I want to see you get the care and help that you need. Some of these people would like to see you incarcerated, and I would like to see you treated. I need you to understand that your future is very much at stake. We need you to remember what happened here.
He starts shaking all over. He looks like he's going to collapse. The officer is propping him up.
Is there, maybe is observe a situation, how I make a professional decision about whether to sedate him so that we don't lose him now. I mean, obviously he's no good to us if he's completely out, but if he's calm enough to make it to the boat.
I think we can shut the doors on the
Yeah.
wardrobe.
Samantha, just before you shut the doors, a smell comes from the inside of the wardrobe. Smells like cheap wine and cigarettes, and it's almost overpowering smell. Nobody else smells it, but you smell it, and all you can think about is your mother.
Yeah. All right. Shutting the doors.
All right.
Does Mr. Mills improve quickly when the wardrobe is closed?
He seems to breathe a sigh of relief, and he's calm for a moment, and then he opens his eyes and he's like, "Where the hell are we?"
What's the last thing you remember?
You people bringing me into this house because you're framing me for murder. Aiden, your phone rings.
All right.
And you look down, and obviously you're in the middle of an investigation, so you don't really answer it. Wait a second. Yeah, okay. So y'all notice Aiden look down at his phone, and he suddenly looks kind of pale.
Bad news, Officer Kostrov?
He looks visibly shaken. He also looks like he's lost for a moment in memory. You can do a keep it together.
-2.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be a 4.
Here.
Who's it going back?
Someone's no longer neurotic.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to end up back on the force.
Why don't
That's
you
right.
take 2 more stability away, and you
Why should I?
you are suddenly shaken, and you sort of stumble towards the wall and sit down, as if you are having flashbacks of what happened on the ship, you think.
Kostrov.
Want me to take him outside?
I think in a moment we'll be leaving.
I'll be all right. Just
Was it something about the wardrobe, or was it your telephone?
Neither. Just you know, sometimes you think you're dealing with something, and it just sneaks up on you.
Since William and Soraya were in there together and no one else saw them, who was on the left and who was on the right when you opened the wardrobe door?
Soraya was on the left.
And she was already unconscious?
She
was
looked dead.
Yeah.
She was blue.
And what was William doing?
He was sobbing loudly. He had pissed his pants, and he was the reason I went upstairs. I called for backup. I was gonna wait, and then I heard a kid crying, and I had to help.
It wasn't because of the figure you saw bound in the house that you went inside before backup arrived?
Figure looked really bad. I thought about going inside to help, but I figured that guy might be dead, and whoever did that to him, he might have a position of advantage. But I then heard the kid, and that made up my mind.
I assume that you had your weapon drawn when you entered the house?
Yes, of course.
And I assume it was drawn when you went up the stairs?
Yes.
And I assume it was drawn when you opened the wardrobe door?
I opened the door in such a way so that my gun was pointed more or less at center of the wardrobe, and the kid had crawled into a ball and at the corner of the wardrobe. So.
And then you holstered your weapon and picked up the child.
Correct.
Did you have a chance to set William down before you were struck?
No.
Do you remember anything between being struck and waking on the ship?
I remember trying to say, just let me get the kid out of here.
Do you think it's possible that William was injured in your fall when you were struck?
I remember telling him, just let me put the kid down, he can run. And he made some type of growling noise, and then just blackness. And then I'm on the ship.
So you saw Mr. Mills before you were struck?
If you did
Yeah.
only a flash, because he came around the corner and just whacked you with a crowbar.
Oh, did he? Okay. I'm sorry, misunderstood that. So then we'll have to retcon that a little bit. It was,
do you feel?
no, I was just carrying him, trying to get the kid out. But
Do you want to hand up? Do you feel steady enough to walk out?
yes, I can do this.
I check my watch. What time is it?
We'll say it's about 4:15, 4:20.
Yeah, we gotta get out to the ship.
Yeah, before it gets dark.
Ooh,
It's already
food
raining
trips.
too.
Mm.
Yeah, so it stinks in here.
I wish I'd brought a headlamp and not just a flashlight.
I got some
And-
other gear in my car.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll assume then that you finish up here. You manage to get back downstairs. It is at this point, it's almost sleet raining. It's very cold. Of course, you guys have dressed appropriately. This is not unusual for this time of the year. You probably have umbrellas and everything else. You bundle everybody up together. Well, not together, sorry. You get in your cars, respective cars, and you drive to Zug Island.
Should Kostrov be driving?
I'm good.
Actually, Detective Jenner, if you have no objection, I'll leave my car here and ride with the prisoner to the island. I'd like to keep observing.
It's up to you, Doc. I'll bring you back to your car, all right?
Thank you.
And, I mean, no point all taking cars to the same place if someone doesn't mind a passenger. How about it? Prosecutor, do you mind if I ride with you?
Oh, by all means.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
So as you're driving along, you're getting close to Zug Island. There's fog coming off the water. It's it's pretty bad with the rain coming down and the sleet. And you find a place to park your cars.
How long does the drive take?
Not too long, maybe 20 minutes.
I just have a couple of questions for Kostrov on the drive over.
Of course.
Never mind. Kostrov, what's your opinion on Detective Jenner?
Fine detective. Excellent record. She's pissed off at me, and that's not going to change, and I don't blame her.
Does her drinking bother you? Think it interferes with their work at all?
I haven't heard any complaints about it.
Well, I don't think you should be too hard on yourself, Kostrov. I think anybody else would have done what you did.
Appreciate that. It's just, if I had waited for backup, that kid might be alive. I know part of me saying could also be dead. He might have gotten back, just killed the kid like he killed all those other people. That's,
Well, can't really change the past.
no. No, I can't.
Right. So you drive along, you park on the quay, and you can see that the only way up onto the ship, there is a gangway that goes up. It doesn't look like it's in great condition. It's rusted. It's old. But it is the only way up there. You'll have to go up onto the top deck of the main deck, and then go down the stairwell into the engine room at the back.
So the ship is just abandoned?
It's been abandoned for quite a while. It's old and it's rusty. It's derelict.
Abandoned industrial infrastructure in Detroit?
No.
Out here, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Does the ship have a name?
Does the ship have a name?
The rubber ducky.
It doesn't give a name. The name is, we'll just say the name is Worn Off. So you have no idea.
How about Evergreen or Ever Given? No.
Nope.
The
You don't know
Zug
what the name
Island
is.
Derelict.
The Zug Island Derelict. There you go. Dr. DeHamry, as you are getting out of your car and you are looking through the rain and the haze up towards this ship, you have the distinct impression that there are 4 people standing up there together. They're just shadows, but they're looking in your direction, and there's something extremely familiar about their outlines. But before you can get a better look, they turn around and walk away. They walk behind something on the ship. Nobody else sees this.
And this visibility. Again, I think we might have some company. Detective Jenner, I'm sorry to report. I saw movement of the deck. It looked like 4 people specifically, not 1 or 3 or 6, but 4. Yeah, and If you've got a bigger flashlight than
Yeah.
my pea shooter, I'd appreciate it.
Go to the trunk, get a couple of the real big police ones, the ones that you can use as nightsticks. Hand one to you, hand one to the prosecutor.
Thank you.
And I'll go up first.
All right. All right. You start going up. The gangway is rickety, noisy as you go up. You still think that it would support all four of your weights, but it's just unnerving. There's that moment when you're passing where if you fell off the gangway at a certain point, you'd land still on the shore and you'd probably drop 15 feet. And then there's that gap where you're going in between the shore and the ship. And if you fell, you'd fall quite a ways down into the water below.
I feel like the guard and Franklin should be on all by themselves in between.
Yeah.
That's the most weight we're going to see.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that.
And ultimately, you step onto the main deck. It's damaged. It's dirty.
Does the ship sway at all, or is it beached?
It's pretty much beached at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gonna scan the deck, see if there's any sign that someone's been up here recently.
Not particularly, you don't see anything, although it's wet and it's raining. So,
Bird shit everywhere.
well, it's raining. So a lot of that's
Well, it doesn't get rid of
I guess it's, yeah, there's probably bird shit all over the place. Yeah.
All right. I'll carefully
Lots of
scan
rust.
the area.
All right. You look around. You don't see anything in particular, but you do see the doorway that you went through to go down into the ship before.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you notice, well, you don't notice, but the others notice that that Frank has started to develop some serious twitches
I'm recording him.
as you've approached the ship.
Yeah.
All right. So the rest of you eventually join him on the top.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Good heavens,
I'll-
Mr. Mills, you've quite the determination to haul so many prisoners up here.
Whatever. Just we should not be here.
Do we need to take our shoes off again? Is Mom going to be angry?
Just get this over with, whatever you're planning. Probably going to take me in there and kill me.
No, everyone here, I assure you, Mr. Mills is dedicated to your seeing trial and being housed
believe you.
appropriately.
Just don't believe you.
Do you know whether the boy William was still alive when you brought him aboard, or did he make it aboard?
I don't know who William is.
How did you find Felicia?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry, not Felicia. Janice. How did you find Janice? Everybody else you killed was in the house.
Who's Janice?
Janice is the mother of William.
I don't know who William is.
It made
Why?
sense.
Why are you people doing this to me?
We just want to find the truth, Mr. Mills.
Let me go. He starts to break down and cry.
Oh.
Please, just let me go.
Detective Jenner, can you lead us through your recollection of this vessel?
Well, when I do that, I start taking him step by step through the encounter.
All right, Felicia, as you step forward, you open up the door. It's rusty. It makes a horrible screeching noise when you push it open. and you suddenly have a flashback, and it's almost as if you can hear the ringing sound of the gun as your partner fell. You can remember struggling at the doorway to get in. And then you can remember going in there and the woman, Mrs. Bedford, William's mother, was lying on the floor, all cut up into pieces. But she was pleading with you to save her. You think, how could she possibly? She was chopped into pieces, but she was still pleading with you to save her. You can do keep it together.
All right. A 13.
Okay. You can choose one of the keep it together things.
Choose one. I'm gonna feel a little guilt-ridden because my partner.
Okay.
got-
Also, Aiden,
Yep.
as you are going in, you are really reluctant to be back down in this dark place.
Trying to put up a good facade though, be like,
Yeah.
doesn't bother me at all.
Well, there's a ridiculous moment where you almost reach out to hold Dr. Carl's hand, and you stop yourself rather than look like
Weak.
you're distressed, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But you manage not to forget too much. Dr. Carl, as you are walking inside, you get the distinct impression that somebody's looking at you. You look back over your shoulder, back onto the deck of the ship. For just a moment, you think you might have seen those four silhouettes out there, but they're gone now. You're pretty sure, though, you know who they are. At least it's impossible that they could be. But
I know what the rain and dim light and awful atmosphere is causing me to
right.
think that's unreasonable.
And Samantha, as you were stepping inside, you were smelling once again, instead of just old oil, you can smell cigarettes and alcohol, cheap wine. It's like it's in your nostrils. All right. So as you go in,
So is there a gangway and then stairs, or what sort of space do we enter at that top?
You cross the gangway, you cross the thing, and then there was an open door leading into what amounts to the back end of the ship. It actually goes up, but you're not going up into that part. You're going down into the engine room. You know, it's probably a couple of levels down. And as you are moving downward, the claustrophobic nature of the ship comes into play. Engine rooms in ships are pretty tight anyway. The walls close in. You find that there is machinery all around you. You find that you're standing on little gangways that the machinery goes underneath you and around you and above you. And a few of the spots are kind of tight.
And we
Frederick-
have no light whatever except for our flashlights, because
Correct.
whatever
There is no light except for your
light was coming
flashlights.
in is gone
Mhm.
once we descend.
You can hear creaking and groaning of the ship. Some of it is light, some of it is huge, some of it is if the entire ship were groaning quietly in the dark. You wonder how safe it is. Gangways are rusted. The floor is metal and
Asbestos.
and it has rust on it, and paint on the thing is mostly completely gone, and large patches of rust. You start working your way down. Felicia, you find the area where Officer Glover was murdered, and it bothers you. Aiden,
Yeah.
you suddenly start to feel as if you really would rather not be down here at this point. It feels as if something terrible happened, some memory that you're repressing, some ominous thing is down here. Do a keep it together roll. And you're feeling very much like you need to get the fuck out of this building, out of here.
That would be a 3.
Okay. At this point, you are completely overwhelmed and you stop. Everybody else moves. If they weren't ahead of you, they move ahead of you. They think that you're just hesitating for a moment, but you can't be down here. So
I'm just going to go to top deck.
All right. So the second they're just a few feet away, you turn around and walk quickly away,
Yep.
almost running because you don't want them to stop you. And those of you who are there, you suddenly see Aiden turn around and go.
Aiden? Officer Kostoff.
He's not stopping. He's out of your flashlight. He's gone.
I wonder if he'll catch his breath outside, maybe a vomit, and be able to come back down. I imagine, we don't know how much he saw of the torture and murder.
I must admit, Doctor, I must admit that I'm feeling a little bit under just because of, what happened here.
I'm sure you are, Detective. I understand that Officer Glover was killed on the stairwell.
Yes.
Do you remember where
Shootout.
Mr. Mills was fired from?
You couldn't actually see Mr. Mills.
I couldn't actually see where Mr. Mills was. I was behind. I hadn't
Well-
gotten to that point.
And you actually didn't expect anybody to be here. You were following up a lead.
Yeah, you were looking at a stolen vehicle, as I
Yeah.
understand.
Right. We were looking at a lead. We didn't even realize he was here.
Right. So you entered this derelict, and then there was a surprise gunshot, and you saw your partner go down.
Right.
And then you saw the victim, Mrs. Janice.
I think I saw her once we got to the engine room, isn't it?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Well,
couldn't
once I
get
was-
into the engine room at first, but then once you did,
Yeah. Once I got into the engine room, I saw the Miss Mills horribly dismembered. Mr. Mills was canatotic, and that was all I saw there. I didn't even realize there was a little boy involved until, later.
Right. So the attack happened as you guys were entering, and Officer Glover was lost,
Mhm.
and then you couldn't gain access immediately to Mr. Mills, who is
Right.
in where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
As was Officer Kostroff, who was
Yes, and Officer Kostroff was in here. I
Right.
understand where if he saw any of this, he might have an issue.
I had a glitch there. I missed whatever you said.
Oh, I said, I can understand where Officer Kostroff might have some issues being down here, since like you said, he might have witnessed what happened to the lady.
Yeah. How's Mills looking?
Almost unresponsive. He's suddenly acting very careful, like he's trying not to make any noise when like maybe he hears something, and he's trying to be as quiet as possible and as still as possible. Even though you guys are moving forward, he seems extremely irritated that his chains are making noise.
Mr. Mills, do you remember when you described that there was... Okay, I'm sorry. We still have to record this. You said that there was someone in the dining room that was bleeding, and she wanted to taste his blood. You remember saying that to me?
Of course she did. Of course she wanted to taste it. That's what she likes. Pain and suffering.
What's she called?
Pain and suffering. Mom.
And who am I talking to? What's your name?
You know my name.
I'm not sure I do.
Well, hell. And suddenly he throws up his hands and hits the guard right in front of him, who's not paying very close attention. And the guard just sort of falls to the side with the railing, on the gangway. And as he does, there's a moment of confusion, and it's so narrow, and there's just no way to maneuver. And he manages to shove past you and run forward, although he's making a lot of clanging as he's going. But by the time you guys recovered, you're not exactly sure which way he went. I mean, he definitely went that way.
I thought we were already in the ship. Did I?
You are.
Okay, because you said gangway. And
Well, there's lots of looks like gangways. Machinery goes underneath, and there's machinery
I understand
on the
now.
sides.
I understand.
Yeah.
I thought I was a bit ahead of everybody since
So
I was checking.
you were, but he shoved
Right.
past you when he shoved the
Okay.
guy as well. And you see him for a moment running off into the distance, but suddenly he's in the shadows and he's out of your league. The guard tries to pull himself up and move forward to try and intercept. Probably Felicia, you do too.
Yeah.
But before you know it, you suddenly hear a little boy crying somewhere off in the machinery around you. And we'll stop right there for a moment and we'll jump back over to Aiden. Aiden, you're terrified. You run up the stairs and you're trying to retrace your steps, but you come to the end of the a gangway, and there's no way to go but down. And you must have
Made a wrong turn.
You must have made a wrong turn. Yeah, and you start back, and you can see that there's another gangway going down, but it's going down into water.
Fuck that.
And it smells very much like oil. And you can see that there's a door across, maybe 20 feet across, but that part of the gangway has collapsed a little, and it's partly underwater.
What earthly reason would I have to want to go that way?
Well, the door says exit above it.
Of course it does, but it looks that doesn't follow logic.
Right. So you turn around, you start going back the other way, and as you're going, you think you're pretty lost at this point. You don't know where you are. You can't hear anyone else. But there's a gun in the middle of the gangway, about 10 feet from you, right ahead.
What the hell?
And as you move forward and look at it, it's your service revolver, and it's clean.
That's impossible. That's an evidence lockup.
Yeah.
I'm losing my marbles.
What are you going to do?
I guess somebody could be screwing with us. It's sick. It's just wrong. There's no like I know, it's like, yes, I'm sure there's a box of Ziploc bags right next to me. No. Is there like a loose tarp or canvas or anything where I can just scoop up the gun and not touch it? Trying to pick up the gun without touching it.
You've got clothes on. Yeah. It's cold. You might have gloves.
All right, I'll pick up the gun.
Okay.
Is it loaded?
Well, you pick up the gun, and as you reach for the gun, the ground underneath the gun changes color, and it's no longer the gangway, it's a tiled floor.
What the hell?
And you look up, and the gun's in your hand, but you are back in the house in the bathroom.
What?
Only the bathroom is not damaged. The bathroom is in good condition. The tiles are not missing from the floor, from the wall.
I look in the mirror. What do I see?
You see yourself, and you're dressed the way you were dressed, and
I'm holding a gun.
you're holding a gun, and the house
I pocket the gun.
Definitely the house, but it doesn't look like it's in a bad condition at this point.
I conceal the gun, pocket it, jacket pocket, and exit the bathroom. Just get the hell out of the house.
Okay, well, you find the second that you open the door into the hallway, you're definitely in the house, but it's not damaged. It's in good condition, as if it were from 20 or 30 years ago.
Are there people?
You can smell what smells like meatloaf cooking.
Oh, fun.
You can vaguely smell cigarettes, maybe. You can hear some light music coming from the kitchen, and there's somebody down there. You can hear humming and pots and pans and things being moved around in the kitchen. And we'll jump back to the others for a moment.
That's fucked.
All right. As you guys are moving, I assume you guys are moving forward, or at least trying to find Franklin.
I'm going to take a moment to check on the guard.
Yeah, same here.
He's not injured. He wasn't paying very good attention. He thought that the guy was light enough and weak enough that he wouldn't have any trouble if he reacted, but he took advantage of exactly the moment when he wasn't paying very good attention and got shoved to the side, kind of tripped.
How is he armed? Does he have a taser? Does he have a...
Yeah, he has a taser. We'll say he has a taser. That works.
All right. And the suspect ran off into darkness without any kind of light source.
Correct. Running in the general direction of the engine room.
Right. Farther. I mean, I guess we're moving from the very back of the ship down to the engine room toward the front of the ship or something.
Well, actually, the front of the ship would be quite a ways away. It's a huge ship.
Right. The engine room doesn't seem, I mean, little map. But he's not any, our flashlights don't get anything. There's lots of rusty, damp machinery we can't see our way through.
Correct.
And it's just dark if we don't shine flashlights.
Correct. We are actually at 2 hours if y'all want a bathroom break. I think I'd like a bathroom break.
Sure.
5 minutes later.
The three of you, the four of you actually, because the guard is there. Do you guys, you're kind of stunned and shocked. What do you want to do?
William! William, is that you?
Yeah. But you definitely hear crowing from off in the distance somewhere. But you're not sure. It's a long way off. But definitely coming from in front of you.
If you can call out, William, we can try to follow the sound of your voice.
Miss Katz, since the prisoner's obviously gotten away and is at least containing the ship, should we call some backup to?
Of course, you should call some backup.
That's what I thought. I'll go up.
This is a disaster.
I agree, and I go up because more than likely my call button is not going to.
It's not going to work inside the ship.
Yeah, so I can say I will be right back. I'm going to go up to the top of the ship and call in for reinforcements.
All right.
Check on Kostroff while you're upstairs.
Yes.
So, Felicia, you turn around and you make your way along the gangway back to the stairs, and you start to go up, and you turn a corner, you go through a door that you remember, and then there's another stairs going up, and you go up that, but it doesn't seem like what you remember. You must have gotten turned around, go back down the stairs. You think there must have been another stairway farther on. But you get to the end of a gangway and it's broken and it drops off into the dark. And you suddenly think that you might be lost. And also you can't hear the others anymore. You could hear them for a moment chitter-chatting, but you start to make your way back. You retrace your steps exactly the way back that you came, but now there's a stairway there going down, and wasn't there a stairway over here going up a minute ago? But it's not there anymore, and there's a closed door now, which wasn't there before. You become quite disoriented and turned around.
I'm going to go to where the closed door is and try to open that.
It's old and rusty. It opens. It makes a terrible screechy noise. And you realize that you are in the engine room. Now, this wasn't the way to the engine room. And you think that you can hear William off in the distance, but it reminds you of that night when you came into this room, and you can see the place where Officer Kostroff was chained. And you could see the place where the chopped up woman was. You definitely could hear the kid that night, and now you can hear him again from over there, maybe.
All right. Well, right now I'm kind of like going, hold it here. I wasn't even heading in this direction. No way did I get that turned around. Part of me wants to follow direction, but at the same time point, I'm like going, this doesn't seem right.
You look down at the ground, and there's a little pink shoe.
All right. I think I need to roll again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. -1 is a 12.
Right. Well, you can make your choice as to how you want to deal with it.
Well, now I'm getting angry. So I'm probably going to head towards where I hear the little kid's voice.
You turn a corner, and there is a little girl lying on the gangway. She's crying. She's looking at you. Her leg is obviously shattered. It's twisted in a very horrible manner. There's bones sticking out, and there's blood. And she says, "Why didn't you take me to the hospital? Why did you just leave me?" Do it again. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was waiting for. Exactly 12 again. Actually, no, one more, so 11. I had to subtract 2 from that.
All right. You blink your eyes, and you back up, and your back runs into a wall. And when you turn and look at the wall, it's got wallpaper on it. It's kind of golden colored with strange medallions. No, it's not strange. It's just house wallpaper. And you find yourself in the bedroom upstairs in the house where the wardrobe is. Except that the house is once again in good condition. There's a bed. The bed's made. The dresser is got things on it, and it seems perfectly normal. But something is wrong. You can smell meatloaf in the air, meatloaf and cigarettes. And there's someone downstairs. Jump back to the others. Samantha and Samantha and Dr. Carl. The guard suddenly gets freaked out, and he says, "I don't know about you. I think we need to get the fuck out of here."
We have backup coming. You really are looking at a dereliction of duty charge. I think you have to help us fix this situation. If this prisoner dies, it's going to be your responsibility. He could fall off one of these things and bang his head or drown. He could do one or more of his damage. It's all you.
From what I understand, that'd be good. This guy's a dick. He murdered people, murdered kids.
The authorities who are in charge of people who kill themselves in jail, they lose their jobs and they often go to jail. You didn't.
How was I supposed to know that he was going to do anything?
Well, you should not have had an earbud in at any time, frankly. I thought that you were in a greater command of your resources, Guard Miles, or I would have said something. At any rate, if you run under this, you can be assured that there'll be a report on that specifically.
Dr. Carl, you look past him all of a sudden, and somebody sticks their head out from between some machinery. You're pretty sure it's Josie.
Look behind you. Someone's there, I think.
Is it the guy? He turns around and looks, but he doesn't see anybody.
I turn very sharp with my baton that police
You don't see anybody.
Yeah,
But of course, Dr. Carl, you saw them pull back the second you said that.
Right, and it's pitch black down here and dripping and reflective, and it's hallucinatory. It's terrible. This is the worst case scenario, but it's not going to be any brighter in here in the morning. We need giant Klieg lights down here and a SWAT team. But in the meantime, can you hear me, Franklin? Can you hear me, William? We're here. We want to get you out of this place.
Your phone, Dr. DeHamry, vibrates. There's a text message.
Oh, you have
It
signal?
suddenly appears on your phone.
The others hear like the little like from a message.
Yeah, you hear the bzz, bzz.
But others hear that too.
Well, they hear it. Yeah, well, yeah, they're standing right there.
Okay.
You guys don't hear it.
It's a nonsense notification. It's some satellite thing. Isn't?
Well, you could. I don't know. Phone.
Yeah.
I don't know if Lisa is.
Yeah, I mean, Jenner just left. Yeah, I think it was just some random signal. I don't see anything.
Nothing. Yeah, no signal.
I'll try to set up an automatic resend, but do we have time for that? I mean,
when you turn back around, the guard's gone.
he was quiet for a big guy. Prosecutor Katz, you seem like a together person. When we get out of here, that person's going to be brought up on charges, I trust.
Oh, of course.
So let's stick together. Flashlights, maybe. We probably have some official formation. And just move as if we were in a labyrinth. Just move until we reach a point and then turn. And after, right, I don't know, 20 minutes, we go above decks or whatever you say. And
we got to go above decks now. I don't want to. Can't be looking in here, just us.
Well, we have to get him out of here. I mean,
yeah, he's not going anywhere. All right, I'm not a cop. If we find him, what are we gonna do?
You're not armed at all?
I'm just gonna hit him with this club.
There is the sound of distressing metal. It starts out kind of quiet, and it suddenly increases in volume, as if metal is suddenly giving way. And as this happens, there is a bang, and the gangway that you guys are standing on suddenly lurches to an angle. We don't have luck bolts, but
we have clamber for survival.
Avoid harm.
Do we have?
There's avoid harm.
Avoid harm. You can both try to avoid harm.
Shouldn't we have rolled that at the beginning of the scenario and just been like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't follow the cycle around the house where he killed everyone. And
that would have been the. There was nothing to worry about.
That's called avoid scenario.
I roll, don't play. Let's see. I got a 12.
I rolled the kitten woke up. Plus 1.
What'd you get, Doc?
I've only got a 9.
Okay.
So let's see.
The thing lurches down. It ends at a rather steep angle. Samantha, you manage to grab a hold of one of the support arms, and for a moment you're hanging there. But Dr. Carl, you slide, and as you're sliding towards the bottom, you can see there's a hole in the deck below, and you slide right through it, and you suddenly splash into filthy oil water nastiness. And Samantha, Dr. Carl is gone. The water closed up over his head, and he didn't come up again. So now you're hanging there, trying to climb your way. You're safe for the moment, but you're in distress.
Oh, I've lost my baton. That's great.
Dr. Carl, you hit the water, which is cold. You fall into it, and for a moment you are completely submerged. And it seems like you are stuck in between a world where you can breathe and a world where you will drown. And you struggle to try to get to the surface, and it's almost as if there's something holding you down. And just when your lungs start to burn inside and you're almost going to try and breathe water, you break loose and you get to the surface and you splash out, and you are in the bathroom of the house, coming out of the bathtub with all that filthy, nasty water in it. Now we'll jump back to cats. What would you like to do? Let's say that you manage to pull yourself to safety, but you are all alone in the semi-dark. You managed to grab a flashlight that fell to the ground. But
all right. I'll flick it on, and so the way I came is gone. And the only other way is where the madman ran. So I'm going to be very quiet and slowly creep my way forward.
See if you can find your way. All right. Aiden.
Yes.
You are at the top of the stairs inside the house. A voice comes from downstairs. The voice is a woman's voice, but it's got a crackle to it like somebody who's smoked a great deal in their life. And she says, all right, come downstairs. Dinner's ready.
Okay. I'd like to just try and snap out of this, which I believe you said is rolling for soul.
You want to try to see through the illusion?
Yes.
All right.
All right. Let's see what we can do here. Oh wow. Okay, that's interesting. That's 18.
You got an 18.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're standing there at the top of the stairs, and something is so wrong here. This doesn't make any sense. How could you possibly be in this house? And as you look at the house, you realize that the walls are not house walls anymore, that ahead of you, from your vantage point on the stairs, you see a labyrinth that reaches out as far as you can see in all directions. And there are things crawling through, things up in the sky, things fluid in the sky. And there is definitely something moving down below you, something nasty, something rotten. And it's calling to you. Come down the stairs. Come eat your dinner. And then,
what the fuck? No.
and then you suddenly blink your eyes and you are still in the house.
I'm gonna turn around and not go downstairs for dinner. And do I see anyone else?
Well, where are you going? Are you going towards the bathroom or are you going towards the bedroom?
I'll go towards the bathroom because
Okay.
I want to try something.
You run towards the bathroom, and just as you get to the bathroom, the water, the nasty water in the tub, suddenly splashes. Something is in there, and it's coming out, and covered in oil and black and filth is Dr. Carl, looking horrified. Dr. Carl, you are suddenly looking up into Aiden's face and he's pointing a gun at you.
Oh, Doc! What the, what, oh, fuck! Doc, this isn't real. We're not here. I don't know where we are, but we're not here. And guns away. Like, I say we make for a window and leave.
Felicia, you hear the two of them talking in another room. You hear it through the wall, like maybe they're in the bathroom.
All right, I'm gonna head over that way.
Right. You get you're shocked by the house because it looks brand new. You get to the bathroom and look inside, and the two of them are standing there. There's filthy, dirty water on the floor, but other than that, the bathroom looks like it was in good condition. And a voice comes from downstairs saying, "You boys come down now. Dinner is ready.
Yeah, don't.
If you don't come down, you're going to be in trouble."
I think we're already in trouble. Look,
Yeah,
Doc,
I see. What are you two doing here? And how'd we get here?
something is screwing with our minds. And I'm not going to mention how I saw a labyrinth and things bleeding through the sky and whatnot. I'm just gonna say it's, I don't know, like a chemical on the ship or something. And we just got to get out of here. There's no way we're in the past.
Well, if we're hallucinating, then it's not like we want to run around. I'd like to try to observe the situation objectively. Obviously, this is insane.
I had a moment where this hallucination, whatever you want to call it, because I didn't think hallucinations could be shared, broke, and whatever is offering us dinner downstairs sounds very strong and very fucked up.
And as you say that, a voice comes from downstairs. "Come downstairs now. Don't make me come up there after you." And when it says that, there's a kind of an authority in the voice that makes you suddenly feel like little kids again. And Mom is going to be mad if you don't move it. Your instinct is almost to do it.
I'm going for a window. I don't care if it's a second story window.
Now, am I out of the tub now?
Yes,
Am I covered with black tar and slime?
kind of. Yeah.
Oh, you look like Will Riker in that episode of Star Trek.
So, Aiden, you're going to have to, the bathroom window is small.
No, I was thinking the bedroom window.
So you're going to run to the bedroom and jump out the window?
Climb out the window. This isn't going to be like free bird and,
Okay. Do an
jump
avoid
out the-
harm to see if you hurt yourself.
Okay.
Felicia and
Cock.
Dr. Carl, you're still in the bathroom. What are you guys going to do?
Well,
Go for
that's not good.
Does the move observe a situation seem appropriate? Or am I too bugged out? Or should I, because I am shocked to wake up in a bathtub full of slime, does that force, like I didn't lose any stability yet for that. Maybe that would change the outcome.
You decide. What do you think? It's appropriate.
Well, I think I was angry, but on top of things in the hull of the ship, and waking up in a bathtub full of slime that I saw earlier is going to cause some kind of break. And so the breaking line for me was like, do I lock down on my pretend insanity and observe a situation coldly and just make a determination about how do I get out of here? Or do I like see through the veil, because obviously objective reality is broken. I've been being haunted. I don't know, let's see. Okay, I rolled the latter in a random 50-50. So I'll roll for seeing through the illusion, if that's
All
works
right.
for you. I have no soul. I rolled a 12 natural, which is all I get. So I see something.
You're there on this next to the bathroom, and as you look out, you can see once again a labyrinth going off into the distance. And as you look down, there's something in the kitchen, and it's hard to describe. Is it like a mechanical monster thing with half broken wings, and it turns as you look down at it, and it looks up at you, and it says, "Carl DeHamry, get down here and eat your dinner." And you suddenly find yourself in the kitchen, sitting at a table, and Mom is at the stove with her back to you, and she's chopping and she's chopping, and you can't quite see what she looks like, but the meatloaf smells good, and she's chopping, and as you look, there are 4 people just outside the window looking in. You recognize all 4 of them. They're the people you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And she says to you, listen here, doctor. She says, I'll make you a deal.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I'll keep them away from you. They'll never bother you again.
Mm-hmm.
But I need you to bring me Franklin Mills. He's mine. Do you understand it? He's mine. I'll even give you the little boy. But I want Franklin Mills. And if I give you the little boy, you have to promise to take care of him. You have to promise to take care of the damage that's been done to him. Do you
Okay,
understand?
Mm-hmm. I understand, Mommy.
Do you agree?
If I can have more syrup on my sausage.
Then bring me him. Bring him here. Or send him here.
I'll try to find him. He's slippery.
And you suddenly find yourself back on the ship, holding your flashlight in the dark. You don't know exactly where you are. Felicia and Aiden.
Well, all right. I am going to attempt to make a, because obviously this is.
You didn't see any of that or hear anything.
No, I know I didn't. But what I'm saying here is transporting from the ship to here. I am definitely trying to. I think at that time point I'd be like going, "What the?" and attempt to see through the illusion.
Okay.
Because this is just not possible. And so, minus my 2 still is a 16. Rolled an 18 minus the 2.
So the same sort of thing happens. You're not in a house. You're not on a ship. You're not even on the earth. You are in a world that seems to be a massive labyrinth going out in all directions. And it all seems to be coming from something down the stairs. And it says, "What are you waiting for, Felicia? Get down here. There's somebody that you need to see." And you find yourself at the table in a kitchen, and Mom is chopping something, and she's facing the other direction, and you can't quite see her. And little girl in pink, Linda Gibbs, is sitting directly across from you, looking at you rather accusingly. And you can hear music, and you can hear the television going in the other room. Mom says, "Lydia told me what you did. She told me that you were a very, very bad person for what you did. You killed her. You ran her over and you killed her. And then you ran away and didn't tell anyone. What kind of a person are you? You're the worst kind of person, but you can atone for your sins. Do you want to have them forgiven? Do you want to escape the torment that lies ahead for you? I need you to bring me Franklin Mills. I don't care whether you bring him alive or dead. However you want to send him to me, I don't care. Bring him to me. Bring him to me. Bring him to me, and I will restore the life of this little girl. I'll let you take her away from here. I'll even let you have William, and take William with you too." What do you say? Or do you want to burn forever in hell?
So this
Tell
is
it's
what
Christian music off in the other direction, in the other room.
So I'm just like going, so this is what I'm actually seeing.
But you're never seeing Mom's face. She looks like the back of Mom. And you feel like a little kid.
Yeah. Knowing my character, I go, I could probably do that. But who are you?
Why, I'm your mother. Who do you think I am?
You're not my mother.
I
She didn't
am.
smoke cigarettes.
I am your mother. Of course I'm your mother. I'm everyone's mother. Are you going to be a good little boy, good little girl? Sorry, a good. looking at you. I said, are you going to be a good little girl
Girl.
and do what you're told? You look over at the other little girl, Lydia, and you suddenly notice that she's smiling and she's got little sharp teeth. And she looks like she's ready to rip into you and get her revenge for what you did to her.
Yeah, I guess I would probably do that because this would take care of the guilt I have. And so I'll take care of it for you.
The instant you make up your mind, you were back on the ship. You were in the dark with a flashlight, but nobody else is around you. Aiden.
Yeah, I gotta just play it honest here. So you asked me to roll to avoid danger, and then the focus
Correct.
switched. I rolled 2 1s, and -2 is a 0.
Okay. So you climb out the window and you kind of reverse yourself. You're holding onto the windowsill and you're planning on dropping down to the ground. And the windowsill and a big chunk of the house in front of you, as you're holding on to it, suddenly snaps loose. And you're falling towards the ground, and you're pretty sure this big chunk of building is going to land on top of you. And there's a thunk as you yell shit, and you are suddenly seated on a table in the kitchen, and Mother says to you, "Don't use that kind of language. What kind of boy are you that you use that kind of language in my house? You've been very bad."
I got it from you. You came home the other night with that man. And you said, "Yes, keep fucking me. Keep fucking me. You're using naughty language." I just wanted to see how she'd respond to that.
This is a Christian household. You stop right now. And she turns around and her hand smacks the side of your face and knocks you to the floor. Do you want to avoid harm?
That's
Actually, I was
endure
thinking-
injury.
I was actually thinking
what is it?
I would grab a plate.
Endure injury.
Okay, so I roll for that.
Yeah.
Okay. I need more dice. That's going to come up to another 0.
Oh. Well.
Roll a new character? I mean, I just got smacked by like a shadow vampire, whatever's.
I am going to say that you are knocked to the ground. A couple of your teeth go flying. Your mouth fills with blood, and you take a serious wound.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Mommy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She goes, "Oh, come, let Mommy make it all better." She says, "All I want you to do is kill that terrible man, that Franklin Mills. He's a terrible person. You kill him, you drown him, you do whatever, and send him back to me, and I'll let you live. I'll let you go." You still can't see what she looks like in her face, but her big mommy hands are sort of wrapped around you, and you feel a combination of loathing and warmth.
Wow. Mommy, did you send me that text message earlier?
Now answer answer your mother, or it's going to get worse. Will you kill Franklin Mills for me?
Okay. Okay. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Good. And she sort of shoves you away, and you also are in the dark, on the ship. Samantha, you hear some clanky noises off in the distance, like somebody suddenly appearing out of nowhere and making a noise on the. That's exactly what happened. You hear somebody. You think it might be one of the other guys.
Carl, Adrian, Felicia, is that you?
Is that me?
You guys all of a sudden can hear Samantha off in the distance somewhere.
Hello.
Hey, yeah. I'm here.
Thank God.
Just keep calling out.
Kostrov.
Very,
Now
Where the hell are you?
it's very echoey. Can we try to be clear? Shine, each of us shine a light once off and on to see if we can see each other.
All right, so click, click, click,
It takes
click.
you about 5 minutes, but you guys all manage to locate one another.
So,
And
Doctor,
what
I thought
kind
you
of
were- I
the
thought you
ship?
drowned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at me. I went. You see the Poseidon adventure? I went under and around some place where there was air.
Felicia's backup coming.
The galleyway that we came back has collapsed. I couldn't even get out.
So we're trapped down here with an insane person. You're saying?
Well, I'm quite sure there's another way out, but I've been lost down here for the last,
What the hell time is it? Oh, my phone is probably not working.
I'll tell you, it's blah, 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 blah. It's
Maybe
been,
a
I check
waterproof
my
watch.
I have a watch.
Tom, how much
It
light?
says it's 4:15 yesterday morning. What is your watch say?
You have no concept of what time it might be.
So,
I think we've been down here for years.
What? No, we've been down here for 20 minutes.
when was the last thing you guys remember before us joining up again just now?
No, look, you ran off,
I
and
admit
then
that.
You panicked.
I did.
Well, I'll be reinstated.
Mr. Miller, he pushed past his guard and fled into the darkness.
Did you see Miles, the guard, get away? Because that big, useless pile of flesh.
You let Miles get away. Wait, or
He
you
let Miller get away.
Miller get away, yeah.
Mills and
Mills.
Miles. Bad.
Felicia
Bad
went to
plan.
go get help, and while
Frankly,
I was, and after the guard abandoned the doctor and myself, the gangway we were on collapsed, and he fell into the water. I couldn't see him, and I had to climb to safety. And well, then I started hearing all of you.
Does anyone have any knowledge if there's some type of really bad chemicals on this ship?
What are you talking about?
you can smell chemical. Yes.
There's
Yeah.
the oil is everywhere.
That everything in all the water. This. We live in a super fun site, 2 states wide. Everything here is poisonous, and I've got this in my eye.
I think we're being exposed to some type of hallucinogen.
What?
Well, you're a panicky failure, so that's its own thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus, Doc.
Oh, I mean, you fucked off and left us alone with a maniac. I don't have any, whatever. We're going to try to get out of this.
Yeah.
If you remember anything from when you were on this vessel before and can lead us in any direction that will allow us to find the escaped, and I'm going to be honest, maniac, a maniac who needs treatment, but a maniac also who took his guard out and ran away. And I think he has multiple personality disorder, which, anyway, if you can help us.
But
that's great.
but I've been diagnosed by you as a fuck up failure. That's it.
I mean, you just ran off because you returned to a crime scene that you'd agreed to return to. You just panicked. You might be fine with a little time in a suitable facility.
Facility?
Well, you don't have any nerve left. Okay. So let's be quiet for a minute. It's very noisy down here. See, I want to hear if we can hear the prisoner's chains, and then I want maybe Jenner, you should call out for William.
Yep, sure.
And then I'll call out for Franklin, because I think Franklin thinks he's William. I think that's why this thing happened.
All right. I have my pistol out and the flashlight, and then.
All right. So you said you were going to listen first. I think as you sit there quietly, you can definitely hear the creaks and groans of the ship. You can hear water dripping all over the place. There is a faint clanking sound. It's not rhythmical, but it sounds like chains on a gangway trying to move quietly. And you're pretty sure you can hear which direction it's coming from.
A sudden light in that direction, and we'll surprise him.
Okay, I'll try not to fail to do that. You shine a light down the passageway, which, as I say, is machinery all around it. And for just a moment, you see a flash of orange suddenly duck back behind something. And then you can definitely hear chains trying to get away.
Okay, so we can move. Now,
Yep.
I probably don't have a flashlight anymore after my swim.
Right.
I don't know that Officer Kostroff might have recovered a magical firearm. Does he still have? That can be determined.
He does.
I don't know that. As far as we know, only Detective Jenner is armed.
Actually, well, I think that Kostroff is scared shitless right now, so he probably has his gun out.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So I'm going to be behind as many of them as I can be, because I'm just going to follow their flashlights bouncing on the rails and try not to get shot by an idiot.
Okay.
And I'm going to feel around in my medical bag for what I need, because I have to check out whether I can act under duress.
Okay. At this point, a kind of a chase ensues. You guys start heading down one direction, and you can hear the chains. And once he sort of realizes that you are chasing after him, and he tries to flee faster, he makes more and more and more noise. So the direction that it's coming from becomes obvious. He's starting to head towards the other end of the ship. And at a certain point, when he gets past the engine room, the ship becomes corridors, obviously. So much easier to navigate, much more straight on. You guys begin running after him. He does not have a flashlight. So I'm going to say at a certain point, he is going to trip and fall. He's going to fall over a cable. He's going to fall over something. And the four of you are going to suddenly be on top of him. What do the four of you do?
I'm hanging way back. I don't know why they want to chase after the maniac of the dark. I don't know what they're on about.
What do you mean? We got to get this guy.
It's not my job. I don't know.
No.
I'm a lawyer. I'm not gonna.
I'm trying to prove I'm still a good cop and not a failure. And
prosecuting criminals is very much your job.
Not catching them. I'm following you, but I'm back a ways.
So
I can't disagree with that. She's a lawyer. She would be holding back.
I go to tackle him.
Okay, well, he's like on the ground, so
I'll put my knee in between his shoulders.
all right. He is struggling. He's trying to grab something and hit you with it, and he says, "For crying out loud, stop making noise! She's going to know we're here, and you'll all be dead." And he's trying to swing at you with something. Try to avoid harm.
Oh, you want me to try to avoid harm?
Yeah.
Sorry.
All three of us who are present?
Well, just him, because he's tucked, kind of
kneeling,
tackled.
right?
6.
Okay. So he hits you with a piece of metal, which knocks you off of him, and he's trying to scramble away. What are the other three doing?
Do I have a taser or not?
Yeah, I'll say you still have it.
All right, I'm going to attempt to tase him to subdue him.
Okay.
Sister.
That is
Engage in combat.
engage in combat.
Or cause harm.
No, it's
or
engage in
violence.
combat. Yeah.
All right. All right. Let me take my thing. So that would
That
be
requires that I get back because I do not want to be.
all right. 16.
You inflict damage. All right. You hit him with the thing. He shakes and screams, and he is momentarily subdued.
I'm going to attempt to handcuff him.
Well, he's cuffed. He's
No,
got
but
chains on his hands and he's chains on his feet.
I'm going to try to secure him a bit more so that he can't do all the stuff he's doing.
Okay.
Make it so it's even more difficult.
So
for him
if
to move
you
around.
linked the wrist
Yeah.
chains to the
That's right. Yeah,
leg
I guess-
chains, he'd
yeah.
be very helpless.
Yeah, that's what I'm
All right.
doing.
All right. He was doing that. He's like, no. He starts to come back. He's like, no. He says, no. You don't understand the danger. She's a monster.
Shut up and eat your meatloaf.
When you say the word meatloaf, he reacts violently, and then he looks like he's in absolute sheer terror.
Yeah, but he's hogtied now, right? So
Mhm.
have
Well,
fun breaking
as
the
it-
wrist. Against the thumb.
As it happens, as Detective Jenner is using her handcuffs to link the chains that hogtie the captive, I'm going to try to give them a little momentum laterally off of this walkway. I mean, I'm assuming we're on another sort of gangplank of sort of a
No,
somewhat-
at this point you're in the main body of the ship, and it's all hallways.
Oh, it's all
So
hallways.
there's no more.
Did you just
game.
Never
try to
mind.
dump us off the ship?
Didn't say anything like that at all.
It sounded like he was trying to push the guy over the gang.
It sounded like he was trying to push us all over the gangway.
Well, just the best armed one and the one that I didn't say it. Never happened.
Yes,
It's
Doctor.
not canon. So while Detective Jenner is connecting with handcuffs the chains around the prisoner, where's Detective Jenner's firearm?
Oh, in its holster.
In her holster, which is a shoulder or hip holster?
Detective. Is it a
Just thinking
shoulder?
out loud here.
I'll let you determine where that is because I wouldn't know. It doesn't say where it is.
Well, it's your it's wherever you want.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's shoulder. No, it's my hip.
All right, I'm gonna attempt to intervene inappropriately in that regard.
Okay. I would like you. Let's see.
Act under pressure or engage in combat. I guess that would be. But
we can do engage in combat, but I need you to do at least -1 because modern holsters are designed so
there's
it's
a
very
snap
difficult to pull
over
them out.
it, and it's it's definitely. And I'm not a combat person. I'm just a little panicked because I'm running out of options. 5 and 3. Oh fuck! 5 and 3 plus 0 is an 8. That's very not successful.
All right, Felicia, you immediately notice that Dr. Carl's grabbed a hold of your gun and he's trying to pull it out.
All right. I'm like, quickly, turn. And I'm going to secure the gun myself. In fact, I'm just going,
Yes.
And
I'm sorry, ever since the bathtub, I've been freaked out. I can't think straight. I'm sorry.
Oh, so you can panic, but I can't. I see how it is.
You panic for a fucking living.
Okay.
I woke up underwater in a bathtub.
Double standard.
I get there's probably a role I can do to try not to get killed. Influence other, perhaps.
Yeah, you can try to talk him out of it. Her out of it.
I wasn't trying to steal your gun, Officer Jenner, obviously, detective. I was just reaching down to help you. Okay, 13 plus or minus. I think it's charisma. Oh, charisma is not my. Oh, +1. All right, so 14. Not the worst.
You can choose one of the. Wait, I'm not even looking at the right thing. What were you trying to do?
Influence other was another.
And I barely made influence others. So you don't just shoot me, but you get to. Right,
you can give them a penalty.
So
trying to do what you don't
Felicia
want to do.
doesn't shoot you. But she doesn't trust you anymore.
I do have 1 point of charisma, if that matters. It's the same roll.
What did you roll?
It's the same +1, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's moot. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So she looks at you like there's no way I'm ever fucking trusting you again for trying to grab her gun.
Prosecutor Katz, I got the prisoner back under control. Shall we?
Prosecutor Katz is missing.
What?
He seems to have disappeared.
Christ, is it just the 2 of us again?
No, I'm
The 3
still
of
there.
you.
That's what I meant.
What the hell?
Did you see former Ostrovakostov? Did you see where Prosecutor Katz went?
No, I've been helping restrain the prisoner.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, he had sort of backed away from you while you guys were engaging the the prisoner, and then he's no
true.
longer anywhere near you.
No, yeah.
Well,
It's true.
I think we should pick up the prisoner and backtrack.
Okay, let's try. I've got nothing. I've got no equipment at all. I've been in the drink, and I didn't come here on for bear. So I will happily go center and try to control Mills. How's Mills looking?
Mills is struggling. Mills is absolutely terrified. He's trying to get away, even if it's completely futile. He knows that you're not listening to any of his reasoning.
And it's really hard to move because
It is, right.
all of his bits are chained together. He's much slower.
It's as if everything in the universe depends on him getting the fuck away from you, but he can't. And he's losing. You can tell that he's becoming hysterical. He's laughing and crying and dear God, let me go. Dear God, please, please, please let me go.
Officers, detective and officer, if we can keep it something between the three of us, it might be necessary for us to subdue this captive. If we're going to get out of here. Oh, I'm sorry. When I said I lost all my stuff, does that mean that I lost my medical bag when I went through the warp?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I got nothing.
Samantha, you're off hiding in the dark, and the entire ship starts to rock and shake and vibrate as if it were breaking loose of the ground that it's attached to. It's, all of the rest of you feel this as well. It's a rumbling through the ship, a thundering in the distance that's moving towards you, and Franklin Mills becomes insanely hysterical. She's coming! She's coming! Get me out of here!
Quiet.
You've ruined everything! You've ruined everything!
I don't think we ruined everything, Franklin. I think you ruined everything.
Why couldn't you just throw me in jail? Christ God Almighty, you've ruined everything. And the rumbling gets louder, and there's a movement of air. You can feel that something's moving all of the air in the ship towards one side.
Okay. Does this, I mean, are we getting the impression here that like we should drop him and like squeeze ourselves against the walls because something is coming to grab him, or?
I'm getting the feeling that we're not getting out of here with him. I think that we have to surrender him here.
Well, okay. He's not going anywhere. He's hogtied. So I guess we'll just put him down and wait.
Jenner, do you think that we can drop him in the drink, or do you think it needs to be an active force?
I just look at the other two and said, I was told to bring him back.
I was told to kill him.
I was told to deliver him to her. I think that's...
Is that all one and the same thing?
I didn't hear anything about killing him, just bring him back.
Where would you bring her to, Felicia? Is there a drop-off point for maniacs?
The black water.
Oh, the
It's
only
all black water. We're surrounded by
I
black
only
water.
see 3 maniacs here.
We all do. And I'm sure we could hear one if she called back. Cats! We're hiding! Well, it's all maniacs here. You think your job, Felicia, is to give that to Mama?
And I just go, yep.
Well, what if we both touch the gun?
I just go boom towards first the officer and then boom to the doctor. Because they're both in my way of accomplishing what I need to do. And the one that is armed is Officer Aiden. So I'm going to take care of Kostov first.
You don't know that I'm armed.
You had it out.
We did.
You had it out.
Oh, okay.
He said he had it out. So I'm making sure you're taken care of. Then I'm going to take care of the unarmed
So
doctor.
Felicia is going to shoot Aiden.
Right.
Okay.
Right in front of the prosecutor's eyes.
Well, as far as I know, the prosecutor's gone.
That is engaged in combat.
Yep. So I assume do I get to roll anything?
I figure I've gone nuts.
Aiden, I believe you
Orin-
could try to avoid
Well, I
harm.
believe Orin will roll, and if he doesn't roll high enough, then he gets counterattacked or
Okay.
bad things happen.
You really can't roll to dodge a bullet.
Yeah.
I've tried. It's hard. Don't
You're
do
in a tight,
All right.
tight area.
Well, the rest
If
of
you-
16.
that. Well, it's been fun.
You inflict damage on your opponent and avoid counterattacks. Kind of damage does your gun do? Does it say?
All right. Let's see.
It does bullet damage. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see here.
I thought
It says automatic pistol. Doesn't say damage. What type of damage it does. I mean,
I don't know how to do damage in this game.
So I think it's going to be an endure injury on the part of Aiden at this point. We have to determine what the harm of the gun is.
Well, that's it's not a great roll to
Because it's
endure
going to be
injury
plus
there.
fortitude minus the harm. So the harm.
Fortitude.
Let's
So
see.
6 plus. That's just 6. Well, when you figure that out, I rolled a 6, the equivalent of 6.
Oh, so the harm's just going to make it way worse.
You know, the bad thing about harm is that it hurts you.
So handgun. So harm.
Does it just automatically inflict critical damage
I don't know.
at this range?
I would assume it
I think even in the worst case of endure injury, there are options of knockout, critical wound, or die.
Oh, harm. Harm, if you're going for combat shooting, it's 2. If you're going for overkill, it's 3.
What?
3 harm. So your endure injury roll will be subtracted by that number. So if he's doing combat shooting,
Under
then
wounds.
it's 2 or it's 3. Either and it expends different amounts of ammo. So multiple targets. It's 2, which is what he's trying to do.
Right, you're
Yeah.
trying to shoot both of them.
All right. So I did 2. So it's a minus.
So it's minus 3 ammo out of your
Yeah.
4, it looks like. And then it looks like Carl's also rolling a avoid harm or an
Yes.
endure injury. Sorry.
An endure injury.
I
To
think
be
he's just getting
separate.
shot. I don't know how you dodge it. Bullets. I don't know.
Yeah, we're all in the same small space. What's my
So it's plus fortitude minus.
Wow, poop. Why did I roll a 5 then? No fortitude.
So now
So,
who's
but again, I think endure injury is, well, and also I have no previous wounds, so But that is a significant fail. So it's serious wound, critical wound, or die are, I think, at the GM's option.
I think, Carl, you have a critical wound. Aiden, you already had a serious wound.
Yeah. And my pride was hurt, and my self-esteem. And this just hurts even more.
Well, he aimed for you first, and he was planning it, so I think that it probably kills you. He probably aimed it right at your heart.
I'm going to haunt you, you bastard.
You drop.
It's bitch.
Carl, you're seriously injured. Samantha, you hear guns going off.
They've all lost their damn minds. I am staying put and I am staying quiet.
All right, Felicia, what do you do?
I'm taking my prisoner to Mama.
Mama.
Okay. You grab a hold of Franklin. I don't know why I can't remember his name. You grab a hold of Franklin, and what are you going to do? Start dragging him off?
Yeah.
Where are you going to take him? What are you looking for?
Basically, I'm thinking probably towards the engine room, since that was, that seemed to be where Mama was.
All right.
So I'm heading that way.
You start dragging him back to the engine room. Aiden's body's lying there. Dr. Carl, you are in serious condition, lying there on the ground, perhaps half gasping, half sobbing. Samantha, you can hear that Felicia has dragged Franklin away, and you can hear Dr. Carl gasping for air. Do you want to do anything?
Once I hear Felicia make a good deal of distance away, I'll go over to him.
Okay. So Samantha comes over to you, Doctor.
Good God, what happened? Oh my gosh.
Tanner.
I'm trying to try to keep it together. That is -2. That's a 8. That's a
So you're freaking out.
yeah. That sounds like some emotional trauma to me. If that works for you, Tom.
Dr. Hamry, as you're lying there, you're looking up into Samantha's face, looking past her. And as you do, Josie suddenly leans over and she looks down at you. And she smiles, and her teeth are all little sharp teeth. And she's like, I can't wait. Just a few more minutes before it all starts. And then you see your other people,
Victims,
your other 3 victims.
old friends, Desmond, etc.
They're there too. And it looks like they're licking their lips. They're just waiting for you. And of course, Samantha, you don't see any of this.
Yeah, well, I'm looking around. I'm going to take Kostroff's gun and tell Carl I'm going to go get help. And I'm going to try to get the hell off the ship.
Okay. Felicia, you drag Franklin back to the engine room. And as you bring him into the middle of the room and he is screaming in terror, this dark, shadowy figure moves into the room. It must be 9 feet tall, and the shadow reaches out in all directions. And you can hear this voice saying, "Oh, Franklin, you've been such a bad boy." And it moves towards him, and he's like, mothers, oh, like this. And it sort of wraps itself around him and it's gone. And the second that it's gone, you suddenly hear crying coming from right nearby, kind of behind the pipes of the machinery. And it sounds like a little boy crying.
All right. I'm going to go to the little boy.
and you find it. It's William. He's completely terrified of you. He's terrified of everything that moves. He's shaking violently, but he doesn't seem to be injured in any way. It takes you a few moments to sort of calm him enough to where you can grab him and try to get out.
All right. I'm going to try to get out.
All right.
Try to get out.
You find that you have almost no trouble. The stairway that you came down is the one that you go up. You turn a corner and go up another stairway and another, and suddenly you're coming out on the deck of the ship. And there's the gangway leading down to your cars, and you run down the gangway and bundle him into your car, and you manage to drive away without any difficulty at all. Carl, as you're lying there, the ship around you seems to slowly break into pieces and start floating off into the air. And you can see this horrible hell-like labyrinth all around you. And Samantha fades away, and the 4 victims of your doing, they move forward and they say, oh, Carl, we're going to show you wonders you never even dreamed of. And they grab a hold of you, and somehow you are in a room locked in a chair, and there are medical instruments, and the 4 of them are there, and they're like, and you won't be able to die. You'll be here forever and ever and ever. And that's the end of your story. Aiden, you're dead. You go into the great vortex, and you're eventually reborn as a child, and you don't remember any of this. And that's the end.
What, didn't you say like I get tortured for like 1,000 years for shit like that?
No. And then Samantha, you wander around trying to find a way out. And you wander, and it seems like years go by. And eventually you find your way out. It's morning, only a few hours have passed, but you feel as if your soul has been aged, even damaged, and you go back into the real world, into the illusion, and you continue. So, I'll give you a final epilogue. Dr. Carl, you're tortured forever.
Now who's the failure?
Let's see.
It's an accomplishment.
Okay, Dan Quayle.
All right. Felicia, you decide, because in a way, deep down inside, you're a bit terrified. You decide to take care of William. You feel that maybe you can make up for the fact that you're responsible for that little girl. And you begin to raise him. Nobody ever claims him. Everybody thinks that he's dead. But as he starts to get a little older, you start to notice mannerisms in him that remind you a great deal of mother. And there's a darkness in him, and he starts to become more and more violent and dangerous. And just when you think you're at the point where maybe you need to do something about it, he frames you. He doesn't really frame you. He makes sure that the police actually find out about the stuff that you've been up to, and you are incarcerated and thrown in prison, where you were ultimately killed by some of the inmates since you are a cop. And that's the end of your story. That's the end of our story. So,
Yay, happy endings.
not usually in this game.
Jesus, this game's
So,
dark.
All right. So Franklin grew up in an obviously damaged household, and his mother was nearly insane. She tortured him. She burned him with cigarettes. She did everything you can imagine. She was just as bad to his sister. And because of her insanity, it attracted the attention of a Nephilite, a kind of fallen angel demon thing. And it moved in and it inhabited her body, it possessed her, and it fed on the horrors and damage that she did. And eventually, Franklin couldn't take it anymore. So he ran away from home. And after he ran away from home, she murdered his sister and was eventually locked up in an insane asylum. And she eventually died. Franklin visited her one time in prison and blamed her, of course, for the kid. At that point, the Nephilite sort of latched itself onto Franklin. And Franklin was haunted by it after his mother died, and it did its best to try to possess him as well. Eventually, it almost succeeded. And what Franklin did was he managed to consult, for all intents and purposes, a sorcerer or a wizard or whatever that was aware of what might be going on. And this person told him that there was a ritual he could perform. He would have to recreate certain things and trick his mother into believing that someone else was him. So he recreated all this with William, destroying his things, preparing William so that he could then trick Mother into believing that William was him, so that he could escape from Mother. So that's what the whole thing was about. The problem was he also did a spell on himself that caused him to forget everything that he did. So that's why he was in a catatonic state. Once you started bringing him back to the house and to the ship especially, the spell that he had used started to crack. And when it started to crack, Mother started to realize the deception. And she wanted Franklin back. So she started affecting you so that you would kill Franklin or do something to bring Franklin back. She didn't care then about William, except that she had planted a seed in William so that she would have a connection to our world through William, and forcing you to raise him so that she would not, once Franklin was dead or whatever, she would still be able to find somebody, continue to do whatever she wanted. That's just the story.
So now, wait, why is it that Dr. Carl was tortured for forever upon dying?
You all had dark secrets.
Yeah, ish.
Well, let's start with Felicia. Felicia, what was your dark secret? Well, we kind of know, but
I ran over a child late at night, and instead of doing the right thing and getting her to a hospital, I hid it since there was no one around, because this would have cost me my job, and drove off.
But he was also a pill popper and a drug addict. And
Yeah, I mean, alcoholic. I was taking money on the side, but my biggest crime was the little girl.
but he was also a classic dirty cop.
Yeah, classic dirty cop.
He was letting gangs get away with murder and getting paid by them to do it. Samantha.
So, I was raised for the most part by my mother. My dad died of cancer when I was 7, and my mom had like crippling alcoholic. I kept finding her unconscious, and she would almost overdose on pills and things, and eventually it irritated me more and more and more. And then one night she was threatening, as she tended to do, threatening to kill herself. And I'm like, you know what? How about you just do us all a favor and go through with it? And she did. And I didn't feel guilty about it at all. Relieved. And all of a sudden, all the people like feeling bad for me really boosted my career along. And so I invited the reporter because I wanted to get in front of the cameras. And I knew
he's the one who called the reporter.
And I knew that Jenner was a dirty cop and had some alcoholic problems. I had seen it in my mother. And so I was trying to keep an eye on Jenner to do another project to really boost my career. I mean, this was an open and shut case. I didn't need to do this. But, if I could get a little bit more time with Detective Jenner and do some digging, I had.
So you didn't even care about me at all?
Nope. I didn't care about this at all in the slightest. I just wanted to boost my career. So anyway.
And Aiden, what was yours?
I didn't have one. I don't know what you're going on about. Let's see. Dark secret. I know what happened in the engine room. Yeah, while Franklin was butchering the lady, that I actually saw that there was something else going on, where there was something dark behind Franklin, and that was it. But that's not really a dark secret. I didn't do anything wrong. I just saw crazy shit.
Yeah, that's really all that you had. So
Yeah.
now, Dr. Carl.
Why didn't you save us, Doctor?
Dr. Carl, the psychologist.
Well,
Doctor.
And failure determiner, apparently.
in your case, everyone is. Yeah, I wanted to turn this case into something that would make me some money. I've been working on a book. I really wanted to capitalize on this patient. Also, I've got a little peccadillo where sometimes my patients are so pathetic and annoying. And if I just nudge them a little bit here and there.
You're a bad man.
And then they kill themselves.
So much more interesting.
That's kind of fun. Sort of interesting.
You like that character
feel.
from Dexter. There's a shrink that would do that.
Well, I knew we had something in common, Doctor. I knew I would do those.
Yeah, I did too. I always saw something about you.
It's like I was the only person who wasn't a piece of shit in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always going to work out great. Yeah. Well, look at it this way. You are probably just dying 1,000 deaths. There are at least 4 angry souls that are going to start torturing me forever. And I gave them a release.
Really?
Sure, I was choosing for them. That's not my job officially. But I gave them release. I let them out. They were miserable people. Jesus, you should have heard them whine. Me. I don't feel any reason to be alive anymore. Oh.
Our players included David Gatsaway, Howard Priest, Morgan Llewellyn, and Oren Mayer, with myself as the game master. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another deadly and disturbing role-playing session in the horrific universe of Cult Divinity Lost. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.